y'all. The Pride Radio Group Net will start in just a couple of minutes. A clear frequency will be appreciated, please. KJ7OMO. Alright. Okay, why is the, There we go. Alright, I got the YouTube stream running. Alright, folks, sorry about that. Had a little difficulty with the, YouTube stream, but I got it up and running. Let me, reset real quick. Hello, and welcome to the Pride Radio GroupNet, everyone. My name is Kimberly, call sign is Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar, and my pronouns are she, her. I am your net control operator for this net. This is a roundtable net, and all calls should go through the net control station. This net meets every Sunday at 2 a.m. Coordinated Universal Time. Before we begin, do we have any emergency or other priority traffic? If at any time there is an emergency, please say break, break, and we will assist you. The Pride Radio Group provides an inclusive environment for all to learn, experiment, and enjoy radio communications by encouraging, promoting, and supporting diversity with the wider radio community, sharing our experiences and learnings with the community, and celebrating and embracing Pride on the air. For more information about the Pride Radio Group and how to join us, plus gain access to our Discord chat room, head on over to prideradio.group or check out VK3PRG or K3PRG on QRZ. Membership is free and everyone is welcome, regardless of who you are and who you love. Unless you're one of those folks that hate us, of course. Hi. Reset. This net is being relayed on the various nodes, talk groups, and reflectors of the Pride Radio Network and affiliated systems, as well as various RF repeaters around the world, and is also streamed live on YouTube, Broadcastify, and Icecast. For more information on how you can connect to this network, as well as listen to the live streams on the above mentioned platforms, visit network.prideradio.group and also motherowl.weebly.com. Weebly is spelled Whiskey Echo Echo Bravo Lima Yankee. Reset. You can also track and follow this net by downloading NetLogger on Windows, Linux, or Mac OS from netlogger.org. Alrighty then, before we begin this evening's awesome net, do we have any news, announcements, or other items of business for the net? This is KJ7OMO, your net control station for the Pride Radio Group net.
VK2WAY standing by with the weekly Rainbow Radio report, which is 3 overs this week. Kimberley, KJ7OMO, VK2WAY.
And VK3JD was just a quick announcement that VK3RBO, which I'll be using for a fair bit of while I'm here, is currently connected. Not sure how long I'll remain connected because I've got a fairly busy day here, but we are connected for the time being. KJ7OMO, VK3JD.
Alrighty, sounds good. And the report from WAY is acknowledged, but do we have any other news or announcements or items of business before we get to the Rainbow report? Okay, VK2WAY, KJ7OMO, go ahead with your Rainbow report. Or whatever it's called. KJ7OMO.
From here to the end of the rainbow, this is VI 2022 Pride, the Pride Radio Group on a range of modes and frequencies. Now it's time for the weekly Rainbow Radio Report. Welcome, whatever color of the rainbow you fly, to the Rainbow Radio Report, your weekly wrap of all things under the rainbow of queer radio. This is Bulletin 002 for this Easter Sunday, 17th of April 2022, with your host Jared, Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee, or they, them to you. We want your news stories and folks who want to help write, edit, read, and deliver this weekly news bulletin. Getting this show on the road has been the easy part. Keeping it going needs folks like you to help out, so get in touch today. The Rainbow Radio Report is an independent queer volunteer news service providing news and stories of interest to queer and allied radio operators around the world. We appreciate the support of all involved clubs and organizations who will be mentioned at the end of this bulletin. Links and more information can be found in the text version of this bulletin, which can be found at news.prideradio.group. In news this week, Furdu Down Under, the Bendigo Easter Parade, updates on the Pride Radio Group UK, the CQ Pride Contest, Pride Radio Network updates, the Pride Radio Group Weekly Net and Discord, and the Rainbow Association of Radio Amateurs. We don't have anything for our listener found interesting segment this week, so you will be skipping that one, but we want to hear from you with a 60-second clip about something you found interesting this week for next week's bulletin. In news from VK Land, Furdu Ferry Down Under. Australia's largest furry convention, Furry Down Under, or Furdu as it's known, will be held between the 28th of April and 2nd of May at the Gold Coast, Queensland. Furdu features all your fun anthropomorphic activities such as fursuit walks, mini-golf, dance competitions, and loads more. The Pride Radio Group will be operating a temporary amateur radio repeater for the event covering much of the Gold Coast and will be accessible on 441.075 MHz with an 8.87 MHz positive offset and a 67 Hz tone, operated by Michaela VK3FUR. The repeater will be connected, or should be connected at least, to the Bradmeister Hampers talk group number 98002 for most of the convention. Easter Parade. With its roots in the local Chinese community, the Bendigo Easter Gala Parade, held tomorrow, Monday, 18th of April, as part of the Bendigo Easter Festival, has always been a multicultural event and prides itself on inclusion and diversity. Members of the local queer community, including members of the Pride Radio Group, will represent as part of the Gala Parade. Activities on the air. CQ Pride Contest. Here's Luke, VK3 UKW, with more.
Pride Radio Group is proud to announce CQ Pride, a radio contest intended to celebrate Pride Month, support inclusion in amateur radio, and to have fun operating. CQ Pride will operate the first weekend of Pride Month every year. It is intended to be a relaxed contest accessible to operators of all skill levels, qualifications, and equipment. The contest runs from 4th
looks like we've
of
got a
June,
technical issue with the
midnight
last
UTC,
over of the bulletin,
until the 5th of June,
VK2WAY back to KJ7
23:59 UTC. Points are awarded at 1 point per QSO, regardless of mode or band. Hotspots, digital modes, and spotting are allowed. Bonus points are awarded for contact with members of diversity-focused groups such as PRG, RARA, ALARA, YLRL, or others. Any group encouraging and supporting the underrepresented group is eligible for the bonus points. A bonus is also awarded for any QSO with a QRP station. Full rules and information can be found on the web at prideradio.group/contest. That's prideradio.group/contest. Pride Radio Group is an international group that aims to further acceptance and inclusion for underrepresented groups in amateur radio. This has been Luke, VK3 UKW, for Pride Radio Group, VK3 PRG.
Thanks there, Luke. Pride Radio Network. The Pride Radio Group Network is an autonomous group operating under the banner of the Pride Radio Group. It is a mixed-mode conference bridge bringing in a range of digital and internet-connected radio modes. We aim to provide a single and cohesive network and a meeting place for any and all Pride or diversity-related radio groups to come together. In updates this week, the Pride Radio Network has added NXDN and P25 modes using either 2, 1, 3 RBO located in Bendigo, Australia on 438.025 MHz with a negative 5 MHz offset and a 91.5 Hz tone. The latest network diagram can always be found at network.prideradio.group. If you want to link up your network or net, get in touch today. The Pride Radio Group weekly net and Discord server. The Pride Radio Group is a worldwide collective of queer radio operators and their allies who strive to demonstrate and promote acceptance of operators regardless of who they are or who they love. The Pride Radio Group weekly net is held at 0200 UTC Sundays and can be found on the Pride Network as mentioned in the previous story. Recalling the formation of Pride Radio Group, Michaela, VK3FUR, recalls all the positive emails and messages she received along the lines of, I might get back on the air, and I'm going to start studying again, from people who had not felt comfortable in the amateur radio community anymore. We strive to support and foster these lost radio folk with a vibrant, technical and accepting environment for everyone. The Rainbow Amateur Radio Association. RARA strive to provide and foster friendship and goodwill in amateur radio, to educate members and the public about amateur radio operations, skills and licensing, to offer support to the queer community who share their common interest in amateur radio. BK2WAY back to the net, and yes, I have pulled down my my node and stopped playback just because of that double up too. Sorry about the technical issues. Let's get on with net.
All right, no problem. We shall try the rainbow report again at the end of net. Alrighty, let's start taking some check-ins. Let me reset real quick. This is KJ7 OMO, your net control station. Okay, here we go. Now that I've reset it and got the correct window open on my computer. Alrighty, do we have any check-ins for the Pride Radio Group Net? Let's start off first with those who are mobile, short on time, and in and out. So if you're mobile, you don't have much time, or if you just simply want to pop in, say hello, and then pop out, please come now with your call signs.
VK3 Juliet Echo Delta. I will be fairly short on time today.
Alright, anyone else who is mobile, short on time, or just want to pop in, say hello, and then pop out? Feel free to come now. And by the way, VK3JED, you have been acknowledged. Alright, because VK3JED is short on time, we will send it over to him first. VK3JED, KJ7OMO.
G'day Kimberley. Yeah, I'm getting in. Just near myself, came back via also. Going in on VK3RBO, live across Bendigo, and yeah, I saw the Easter Parade mentioned in the, or heard it mentioned in the news. That is correct. There is a queer entry in the parade. I will be there myself. So I took part 3 years ago under the same banner, so I'll be there again tomorrow. The weather's forecast is not looking too great, but we'll see. This repeater has really good coverage, incidentally, of sort of central Bendigo and areas to the north particularly, and I think the west as well, but certainly the north works quite well up around Raywood and places like that. Yeah, we use it for our Sarridge Club net on Fridays, along with the rest of the network, which is a carryover from when it was just a simple one system, but now, of course, we have the whole network. That's pretty much all the news here. I'll be here for anywhere between 10 minutes and 35, and unless someone else comes up from this part of the world, I'll probably pull the link down when I go mobile. I'm actually not driving myself, and we'll have local company, so I'll probably pull it down then, but should be back to normal next week, I think. Anyway, KJ7OMO with the net, VK3JED.
Alrighty, VK3JED, KJ7OMO, your net control station returning. Alright, well, thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll keep you on the list for now until you are ready to pop on out. Alright, do we have any other mobile, short on time, or in and out stations that wish to check in before we move along? This is KJ7OMO.
Yes.
Okay, could you repeat your call sign again?
J7WAF. KJ7WAF. Keely, Juliet 7, Whiskey Alpha Foxtrot.
All right, net control recognizes KJ7 Whiskey Alpha Foxtrot. Anyone else? All right, before we take regular check-ins, let's go to KJ7 WAF. This is KJ7 OMO, your net control station.
KJ7 OMO. Thanks for letting me check in. I actually had you guys tell me about it, so I just wanted to check in and say hi and hopefully make the other net. So thank you for letting me know about this.
Alrighty, awesome. And would you like to remain on the list? You know, so would you like to remain on the list and be called again? You know, at a later moment and a later time.
Yeah, so this is KJ7 WAF. My name is Zoe. I'm located in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I absolutely would love to be contacted later time.
Alrighty, no problem. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier that I just lost my train of thought, so we'll get back to that later. Alrighty, let's move on to anyone, anywhere. So it does not matter if you are mobile or not. If you want to be here for the long haul or still short on time, does not matter. Doesn't matter if you're moving or not. If you can hear me and you would like to check into this awesome Pride Radio group net, feel free to come now with your awesome call signs. I've got contesting in my mind. Anyone, anywhere, feel free to come now.
Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee, Jared Dave M.
Alright, VK2WAY, you've already been on the list, but we'll acknowledge you anyway. Alright, do we have any more check-ins for this net? Feel free to come now. Oi, that was an extremely rough copy, but I think I heard Victor Kilo 2 Golf Papa uniform. Could you, confirm that one more time? Alrighty, yeah, you're still not making it in very well, but I did copy your call sign, Victor Kilo 2, Golf Papa Uniform. If you could, get some more power out of that radio or try to point that antenna more towards the repeater, or maybe find a different location, that would be really helpful. Okay, do we have anyone else that would like to check into this net? Feel free to come now. Alrighty, let's get moving. We'll take more check-ins in just a bit. VK2WAY, KJ7OMO. You're, of course, always the first one because you're the first one to transmit when I call for announcements. So, yeah, let's see what kind of traffic you have for this week's net. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station.
This is BK2WAY coming into net from my balcony on DMR through my hotspot for this over, and just cracked a beer for a Sunday afternoon and enjoying some balcony time now that my morning of recording and editing has wrapped up. And apologies for the technical hiccups on the news, but we will get play-out sorted properly in the near future with proper breaks and resets and everything built in, hopefully. So ideally in my world, I get to a point where I dump a web file at my server and out comes all the bits and schedule and things to play. So when we get to that point, I might actually go for a scheduled time of start for the news bulletin right before net, actually, and we'll just play it out automatically as soon as the repeaters clear 5 minutes out or something like that, I think. That might be an idea. Other than that, welcome WAF over there in Nevada, I think you said, and welcome to the group, and nice to hear you come up. And GPU there, if you would like access to my web reflector to come in better, I think that might be local interference between the ASL node and ROT, but I'm getting a lot of noise on ROT today here as well in the city, so hence the DMR use right now. Back to you, Net Control. That's it for this over. Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee.
Alrighty, VK2WAY, KJ7. Oh, I'm all returning. Alright, awesome. And hopefully you get those gremlins worked out, because I would love to hear the rest of the news. Alright, VK3JED, this is KJ7OMO. It's your turn now.
Yeah, okay, Kimberly. And yeah, I'm still here. Just going to be coming on IRLP for today via VK3RBO, the local UHF repeater here in Bendigo. It's on a hill not far from here, not far from the middle of town, so it's got really good local coverage on a handheld. Doesn't need much power, and this node's been up for many years and works quite well. Doesn't get a lot of use here. It's generally fairly quiet, but yeah, it's always good to see a bit of activity locally. So anyway, yeah, not a lot else to report. I mentioned the parade, and yeah, I have a couple of ways that I used to manage news stuff. When I did do, and yeah, I'm like you there, Jared, I'm a huge fan of automation, and basically you make it a press the button, point and shoot operation. So yeah, that's how I do things. Yeah, welcome to VK2 GPU. Yeah, I'm not able to hear you here. The noise is completely clobbered your audio by the time it comes through the IP links. Neither of them, either RBO or my local All-Star, is good enough to provide anything readable coming through, unfortunately. Yeah, so it sounds like there's a bit of a technical issue with VK2ROT up there in Sydney, which is a bit of a shame. And also welcome to the other station from the US, KJ7OMO with the group, VK3JD. Still here for now. I'm just waiting on a phone call or a text message to know when I've got to go.
Alright, well, hopefully that text message won't come until after the net ends. Hi. Because we'd love to keep you around. Alright, let's check in now with Kilo Juliet 7 Whiskey Alpha Foxtrot. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station. And by the way, what pronouns do you use? I already know it, but the rest of the folks might not. Alright, this is KJ7OMO returning, WAF is having some difficulty getting in, but I'm gonna give them one more try to see if they can get in.
I just heard that last bit. KJ7 WAF, Kilo Juliet 7 Whiskey Alpha Foxtrot checking in.
There you are! Yeah, I see that you're coming in through DMR, so due to how DMR is, you might have to... due to how DMR is with dynamic talk groups, you'll have to give it a quick kerchunk once every 15 minutes just to stay connected to the network. So, what kind of traffic do you have for the net? And even though I already know this, the others might not. So, what pronouns do you use?
KJ7 WAF, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a trans woman out of Las Vegas, Nevada. I've been friends with KJ7 OMO for a little about a year now, I think.
My oh my, how the time has flown. Alrighty, well, I'm glad that you've finally been able to make it to the net, and yeah, we definitely look forward to seeing you again on this net. So, we're gonna pass it on to VK2GPU to see if they have gotten a better connection to the repeater. This is KJ7OMO. VK2 GPU Victor Kilo 2 Golf Papa Uniform. It's your turn. Alrighty, that station is likely having some issues making into the repeater, so we'll check back with them later. Alrighty, we're at the bottom of the list, so let's see if we can add some more folks to this list. If anyone would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net, feel free to come now with your awesome call signs. Is there anyone else out there that would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net? Feel free to come now. Alright, doesn't look like we have anyone else at this time. So, before we go back to the top of the list, if there's anyone listening that is not licensed and you're interested in checking in with us, I strongly encourage you to go out there, study for your ham radio license, and get that license so that you can be able to join in on the fun, as well as have other sorts of fun besides checking into nets. So anyways, we're gonna send it back up to VK2WAY. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station for the Pride Radio Group net.
This is VK2WAY coming in on Echo Link via the Waverley Amateur. Me, and it's just because I had to steal a headset from my cat who wanted to check in and see the Discord for a photo of her with the headset on. She stole it from me for a moment, but yeah, back in here in front of the laptop, just creating GPU an account there on the web reflector to come into to the net, and looks like she came up there, but then I see a X-mit of 16 seconds from her, but we didn't copy any audio there, Ray, so if you'd like to try again with your mic unmuted, perhaps, that might be a good idea. Other than that, I will throw it back to net control and be here for a bit more of a chat. KJ7OMO, VK2WAY.
Aw, your kitty wants to be a ham radio operator. Well, if your kitty cat is able to pass the exams with flying colors and be able to operate the radio, I don't see why not. Alright, well, hopefully your cat hasn't chewed up your headset. Alright, we're gonna send it over to VK3JED. This is KJ7OMO.
Okay, Kimberley, I did see the photo. Looks like Jared's definitely not going to have any problem with cat control. Definitely lots of cat there, which is always good to have. And speaking of cat in the more amateur radio sense, that reminds me, I've still got to set up my portable station with the 818 and WSTJX for FT8 and whatever else. Always something to do in this game, that's for sure. Always things to play with. And yeah, I'm standing under the antenna that I've got to prepare for portable. All the bits are standing up here, but they've got to come down anyway in the not too distant future. And might as well use them portable at the same time. And I think 2.5 watts FT8 will be an appropriate mode to get out. It's hopefully we can get VK2 GPU online. Looks like there's a little bit of a technical hitch on the PC in there. And the other station from Vegas, I keep forgetting the call sign, but hearing you loud and clear down here in central Victoria, in the suburbs of Bendigo. We're about, for those outside of Australia, about 150 kilometres or 90 miles northwest of Melbourne in the state of Victoria down here. And it's a lovely, warm, sunny day for the Easter fair that lasts all weekend. KJ7RMO with the group VK3JD.
VK3JED, KJ7OMO returning. If a cat were to take over net control duties of this net, would the cat become a cat control operator? Hi. And yeah, sounds like you're having a lot of fun there setting up antennas and radios and such. And yeah, sounds like you're about ready to do some HF stuff. Horrible. So that's really exciting. By the way, you got some strange interference in your transmissions there. Some of it kind of sounds like little bit like squealing, others like flatulence or whatever. It's just kind of a weird interference going on, but other than that, we did copy you 100%. Alright, let's send it over to Kilo Juliet 7 Whiskey Alpha Foxtrot. This is KJ7OMO. KJ7WAF, KJ7OMO. Alright, I think we lost her, so we'll get back with her in a little while. Next station, VK2GPU. Let's see if you're back, KJ7OMO.
VK2 GPU here. Am I coming through now? Over.
Yeah, lots of noise, lots of interference. I'm only kidding. You're coming in loud and clear.
Awesome, that's good. I'm gonna just quickly go and finish getting my lunch that's been delivered in, and I will return. And back to you, KJ7OMO.
Lunch. Careful with that word, because Jared's gonna want to know what you're having. Hi. And by the way, what pronouns do you use? Alright, we've reached the bottom of the list, so, let's see if we can get more folks checked in. If anyone out there would like to check into the Pride Radio group net, feel free to come now with your call signs.
Quick break if I can there, Kimberley, VK3JD.
Alright, VK3JED, go ahead.
I'm going to have to say 7-3, drop the local link, so we're going to drop VK3RBO off the network after my next, after our acknowledgement, and then I'll leave you the rest of the net. I'm heading out, so just pass back to you for acknowledgement, and then I'll have my final and drop the link.
Alrighty, not a problem. 7-3 to you, and have a safe trip. And for those of you who are on the VK3RBO repeater, and if you would like to continue listening to the net, just head on over to network.prideradio.group or motherowl.weebly.com. Weebly is spelled Whiskey Echo Echo Bravo Lima Yankee, and from there you will get a list of other nodes or stations that you can connect to. Or you can just look me up on QRZ. My call sign is KJ7OMO, Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar, Mike Oscar. And I will... And information is provided there. Just look for the Mother Owl link. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and drop for a moment so that we could let JED disconnect the RBO repeater, and then we will move on. This is KJ7OMO.
I thought he was coming back for one more over before he dropped their Kimberly, the K2WAY.
Yeah, I'm trying to get going here, Jared, but very, very quickly, BK3JD.
Alright, Tony, I'm going to give you a moment to disconnect, and then we'll carry on.
Yeah, okay, thanks for that, Kimberly. Yeah, if anyone does want to reconnect, it's on Reflector 9550, so yeah, I'm just disconnecting in case someone wants to connect elsewhere, but if they want to connect back, you can reconnect on 5550 IRLP, of course, which is what this VK3RBO uses. 7-3 all, this is VK3JD disconnecting from the link.
Alrighty, do we have anyone else that would like to check into the Pride Radio group net? Feel free to come now. Alrighty, let's send it back to VK2WAY. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station.
This is VK2, WAY returning to the net, and thanks there, Kimberly, and welcome, Ray. So good to hear you finally on the air, and all, well, TXing and hearing your voice, and welcome to the net. And as for Merkel, well, I think she could, if we could translate the exam into cat for her, she would have no problem passing. If I watch anything science or engineering related on YouTube, she is glued to it, and she's a massive fan of Kamataskov and the space weather reports. So I think she gets band propagation. So I think she'd have no problem passing the test if someone could just translate it into a form that she could take it in. And yeah, we do need to strive to make amateur radio testing more accessible. I don't know if that's taking it too far, though. And 73 for now, Tony, BK3JD. Good to have you on the net as usual, and we welcome the Bendigo repeater into the network anytime at all, and glad to have another FM repeater on board. Other than that, I'm coming in via Echo Link again into VK2ROT once again, and thanks to the Waverley Amateur Radio Society here in Sydney for the use of this repeater, which is located on Oxford Street in the queer heart of Sydney. I think that was the bit that you were trying to remember at the beginning in your preamble there, OMO, when you were going to mention something about repeaters as well, and moved on, losing train of thought there. But I think that's everything for this over for me, and thank you everybody for joining us today. Back to you there, Net Control KJ7 OMO. This is Victor Kilo 2 Whiskey Alpha Yankee.
Well, if we translated all the testing material to cat language, I think it's gonna be nothing but meows and purrs and trills and screeches and hisses and more meowing and trilling, etc. That's gonna be a weird test to take. Hi. Alright, we're gonna see if KJ7WAF is back. KJ7OMO. KJ7WAF, KJ7OMO. It's your turn. Yeah, I think we lost Zoe there for good. So I'm gonna check her out, and she is more than welcome to check back in. Alright, VK2GPU. This is KJ7OMO. It's your turn. And by the way, what pronouns do you use?
KJ7OMO, this is VK2GPU. My pronouns are she, her, and it's great to actually be on the net, even if it's been quite a bit of trouble to get in the game this morning using my 70cm Yagi, just like as high as I can get it, pointing all the way into the city, which I think is about 30 kilometers or so distance. But yeah, it's hilarious. I got my license granted just a couple of days ago, finally, and I have much better setup for HF, working on, mostly been working 40 meters SSTV actually, and a little bit of FT8. Anyways, back to net control. Oh.
Alright, VK2GPU, KJ7OMO returning. Awesome stuff there. And we're glad that you're finally getting into this network and not have to deal with all the static. Alright, we're at the bottom of the list now, so let's see if anybody else would like to check in. So if you're if you're hearing us and you would like to check in, feel free to come now with your awesome call signs. Come on now, don't be shy. If you would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net, feel free to come now with your awesome call signs. Sheesh, all I'm hearing is crickets. Alright, well, hopefully others will chime in on the next go around. Back to VK2WAY. This is KJ7OMO.
Wow, back to me so soon, VK2 WAY returning to the Pride Radio Group as Sunday afternoon VK time or 0200 hour regular Sunday net, and yeah, fun being here again. And back to Merkel, yes, it would be an interesting exam to watch someone sit, but I'm sure it would make more sense to the cats than it does to us, at least. And you know, all I'll say is I'm for more cats on the air and more cat control running things. I think amateur radio could be an improved place with more cats. Other than that, let's see. It's been a I've seen your activities there, Ray, on FSTV, and I was busy, I think, most of that day that I saw lots of it, helping VK3JD Tony there dockerize all of the things in their multi-bridge cloud environment. So it does look like fun, and I think, yeah, if I get on HF anytime soon, I will have to join you in hassling folks. But I do encourage you all who are doing HF SSTV, you really need to be rickrolling people. Come on, we need more Rick Astley on HF. Alright, on that note, I am getting silly now on our net control. You should tell me to stop. KJ7 Homo, VK2 WAY.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. You just had to mention Rickrolling. Well, hey, guess what? Y'all just been Rickrolled again. And yeah, I definitely plan on doing some HF Rickrolling shortly after the net is done, so yeah, I will announce the frequency I will be on when the Rickrolling commences. Unfortunately, I won't be able to use the 40 meter SSTV frequency because that is just barely outside of the frequency ranges that I am allowed to operate on as a general. So I'll have to choose a different frequency for that, but I will announce that later on once we're done with the net here. So, anyways, let's take it down to VK2GPU. This is KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2GPU, and I'm gonna probably keep my rickrolling to a minimum, or I'm certainly not going to announce it, because I'd rather catch people off guard if I do plan to do it. I might actually see about doing some VI 2022 Pride SSTV, because we've got some beautiful artwork that we could actually be sending out, and, you know, why not bring all the politics to the air while we're at it. Back to you, Net Control. VK2GPU out.
Yeah, I was also planning on throwing out some SSTV using the artwork and the Kilo 3 Papa Romeo golf call sign, but I've been too lazy. One of these days I will do that. Alright, we're at the bottom of the list again. Doggone it. We need to get some more people on this list, so if anyone out there would like to make your presence known and check into the Pride Radio Group Net, feel free to come now. Is there anyone else out there that would like to check in to the Pride Radio Group Net? Feel free to come now. This is Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar, your net control station for the Pride Radio Group Net. It's awfully quiet out there in Radio Land, so we're gonna send it back to VK2WAY to make some noise. This is KJ7OMO.
Alright, KJ7OMO, VK2WA. Whoa, let's turn the DMR down in the background. VK2WAY returning with a bit of an echo there. That was about to drive me crazy. But yeah, let's get this party started. Let's get some Rick Rolling SSTV and Pride Radio Group SSTV out there on the 40 meter and 20 meter bands and make all those folks giggle for a change and, you know, do it within the rules, but have some fun with the rules. That's what I always say. After net today, I have promised Siobhan, KJ7USZ, that I will join her net over on PSRG at some point and at least check in. That was a bit of we've had a side chat around some of that craziness over on their repeater network last night with the Friday night drunk local coming in on RF and causing havoc, especially, well, apparently it had been going on for some time before we joined them, Kimberly, but, you know, such is life, and it has been a thing they've had on weekends over there a little bit lately, so hopefully tonight's a bit smoother, and an absolute amazing marathon net operator. Done a 5-hour net wheel, 4-hour, 45-minute net with her before, and yep. So possibly won't be joining you once again over on SSTV land in HF, but yeah, possibly will be in the near future. Actually, the only HF I have here right now is a fixed frequency 7-point-something megahertz CW transmitter, which I had intended to practice with, but have not had time because I found the Pride Radio Group and started building a multi-mode networking voice bridge with everybody and stopped my CW practice, which I really should get back to. Anyway, what's for dinner, Kimberly? KJ7OMO, VK2WAY.
You just had to ask that question. I knew you would wind up asking that question right after Ray mentioned something about lunch. The answer to that is the usual answer. I don't know. I have to wait and see what Mom surprises me with. And as for the CW thing, I tried it and I find it really frustrating and it's really hard to grasp, but one of these days I'll see if I can master it, but I'm just feeling too lazy at the moment. But yeah, it would definitely be awesome to see you on to hear you on HF one of these days. Alright, I'm gonna send it over to VK2GPU, and my apologies for that sound in the background. That's my phone ringing, but I will ignore the phone call for now. So, VK2GPU, this is KJ7OMO, your net control station.
Thanks, KJ7OMO. This is VK2GPU. Yeah, now I just need to figure out how to, if I'm operating any of the club call signs, figuring out what app to use on Linux for logging and all that. Since at the moment, all my logs are just a Google Doc and very loose dates, times, frequencies, call signs, etc. Because as someone who works as a software engineer, I seem to do things a little bit more old-fashioned sometimes. I'm actually surprised I'm not using pen and paper for this. Anyways, if anyone has any good recommendations of a Linux-compatible logging program, that'd be fantastic. Back to net control, this was VK2GPU, and over.
Alright, I'm not sure about logging software for Linux, but yeah, you definitely do need to get a logging program for it, sure, because a lot of the times when you submit your logs, they're gonna want it in a particular format. So it's a good idea to get a logging program. Anyways, let's see if if anyone else would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net, feel free to come now. This is KJ7OMO.
ZL3NLA.
Alrighty, just to confirm, is your call sign Zulu Lima 3 November Lima Alpha?
That is correct. Zulu Lima 3 November Lima Alpha, and the name is Nick, November India Charlie Kilo, from Christchurch in the South Island of New Zealand.
Alrighty, I'm gonna need you to run your name with us one more time, because it's one of those names that's hard to remember. So, do we have anyone else that would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net? Feel free to come now. Alrighty, we're gonna send it over to ZL3NLA. This is KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, ZL3NLA. Lovely to make the contact. I'm a new ham, recently licensed, and just in the process of signing up for a few digital accounts. I run just a small Yaesu FT5D handheld transceiver through WiresX in our local Fusion repeater, but this afternoon I just have applied for some other digital mode registrations, and Echolink happens to be one of them, and was the fastest of all to get online via my Samsung S6 Galaxy tablet. Back to you.
Well, awesome. Welcome to the Ham Radio hobby. It's always good to have new folks on the air, and also welcome to the Pride Radio Group net. This net meets every Sunday at 2 a.m. Coordinated Universal Time. And since I have a hard time explaining things, I'm going to send it over to VK2WAY because they can explain things better than I can. This is KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, VK2WAY. Sorry, I was just sidetracked there for a moment. You'll have to remind me what I am explaining, but happy to explain anything folks ask me to, as usual. Echolink, I did hear mentioned in there, and sorry, I was trying to listen to the station's report there before I got to the interruption on this end. But a big welcome to Christchurch on the net, and we'd love to have first-timers along to the Pride Network, and welcome. Other than that, yes, I can point you at lots of interesting Echolink places to be. Echolink was one of my first modes, and still one of my favorites, actually, though I'm using DMR to come in right now because my laptop just crashed. Ray, Linux logging, I use HamRS. Now, the only thing I wish it did was sync logbooks between Android and Linux. It doesn't do that, but it's the same, pretty much the same interface on both, and you can export from both, so you can do manual merges and things like that. But other than that, Kimberly, you'll have to remind me as to what you'd like me to explain this over. Back to you for that, KJ7OMO, VK2WAY.
what the network is about and what the club is about and all that stuff, because you tend to explain things better than I can. Back to you, VK2WAY, KJ7OMO.
Oh, cheers for that, Kimberly. KJ7OMO, VK2WAY returning to the net. So yeah, Pride Network is a mixed mode conference bridge, I think would be the best way to describe it. It is utilizing a USRP backbone, which means that we shuffle uncompressed and all digital data mode metadata across the backbone and translate it between, or at the best quality and with the most metadata between any two modes. So that means we can link in various things in different ways and hopefully still bring in all of the things digital modes offer, like metadata and caller ID and those kind of nice things that the digital world brings. Other than that, the Pride group is here to foster acceptance and a safe space for all in amateur radio, where folks who haven't in the past felt safe to hit that PTT button have a place that they can be themselves regardless of who they are or who they love. Back to you, Net Control, VK2WAY.
Well, you couldn't have said it any better. Well done, as always. Alright, well, hopefully that's enough info to explain things about our network. And you are more than welcome to hop in anytime for a QSO, or even to partake in this or any other net that may be on this network. Alright, we're going to send it back to ZL3NLA for any further comments before we move along. This is KJ7OMO. Alright, looks like we lost that station, so we're gonna send it over to VK2GPU, KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2GPU, and yep, thanks Jared. Just grabbed the HamRS logger on my phone now, so I can at least start having a fiddle with that. I would rather not have to hand transcribe to ADIS when doing anything. Although I know how frustrated I'm probably going to be with every single logging app there ever is, because I just seem to not get on very well with a lot of software. But yeah, I might actually at some point go operate the VK3PRG call sign on SSTV, maybe later today. Not sure if I'll manage any QSOs. I've only managed to get 2 so far on my own call sign. And other than that, just annoying people by transmitting Scotty DX when the band seems quiet and I'm trying to get a good read on the AREG repeater. Sorry, not AREG repeater, the AREG Kiwi STR and VK3 Ox's bot on Mastodon that actually scrapes all of the SSTV. If anyone hasn't seen that, it's actually pretty cool. I've been, since I'm a new ham myself, was having fun watching how my signal improved over the course of the day as HF propagation changed and whatnot, so planning to learn. Anyways, back to Net Control KJ7OMO, this was VK2GPU.
Annoying folks on HF with super slow SSTV transmissions. How about a super slow Rickroll SSTV? I'll think about that. Alright, we're going to send it back to Zulu Lima 3, November Lima Alpha. This is Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar, your net control station for the Pride Radio Group Net. I think Zulu Lima 3 November Lima Alpha has lost their connection. So we'll check back with them later on. All right, well, we've reached the end of the list, so let's see if we can get more folks on the list and checked into the Pride Radio group net. So if you're interested in checking into this net, feel free to come now with your awesome call signs. This is KJ7OMO. Alright, do we have anyone else that would like to check into the Pride Radio group net? Feel free to come now with your call signs. Alright, back to the top of the list with VK2WAYKJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, VK2WAY returning after a slightly longer than expected pause due to my radio saying access to that DMR time slot was denied. The joys of DMR. So in other news, yes, I've been invited to speak at the St. George Amateur Radio Society next month on DMR. So I've been deep diving into the standard, including the entire protocol, data layer, and all of the, what is essentially an OSI for air interface through the linking protocols and all of the really good stuff. So very interesting when you look into the services that can be provided over DMR, which is where my particular personal interest lies. Wanting to build out the service suite for the free DMR network, obviously. But yeah, I'm continuing to ramble. But I guess a better question for me each week, seeing the answer is always the same to the standard question. The better question would be, and I think you might need to log this in future, what was for dinner last night? Back to you, KJ7 or VK2 WAY.
Yeah, I usually don't log any of that kind of information. I just eat and carry on. Basically, it's what I do. But my mom did call me earlier, try to call me earlier, so maybe dinner is ready. Who knows? But we'll find out at the end of the net, I guess, after I call her back. But for right now, let's send it back to VK2 GPU. This is KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2 GPU. Thanks very much. Now that I'm set up with the logging stuff, I think one of the other things I need to try doing, at least until my hotspot arrives, is see if I can hit the ROT repeater better. Now I'm wondering if 4-element Yagi is probably not enough, so I might try putting a 6 or 7 element together maybe later on today. Other things I've actually been up to is I've finally got my new antenna up for radio zones, which now also has a 403 MHz filter and an LNA on it. It's a quadic wave ground plane, and I'm hopefully gonna consistently retake the title of be able to actually hear them from the furthest distance out that they go, since I did have that until one new person jumped on board in Sydney going sond hunting, and I should probably email them. They've actually got their foundation license exam next month, so it'll be good to hear them on the air too. Anyways, back to net control, KJ7OMO, this is VK2 GPU, over.
Alright, VK2 GPU, KJ7, OMO returning. Alright, well, hopefully the new antenna tweaks will make things better. Speaking of Yagis, one of these days I want to make a dual band 2 meter and 70 centimeter Yagi for communicating with the International Space Station. Here recently, I've been making a few contacts on the ISS repeater, but it's difficult to do because the only antenna I have that could actually make it to the repeater up there in space is a Comet GP3, and that's a vertical antenna. So unless that space station is flying overhead at a particular angle, I'm not going to be able to reach the ISS with the antenna that I have. At least not for long enough anyway. So I only have like a tiny window that I could actually make a successful transmission into the ISS and receive something. But, it's very brief. So if I can make a dual band Yagi to take, to just point at the ISS directly, that might make things a lot better for me. And if you do manage to make a Yagi, then I would love to see what you did, how you make it, and all that stuff, and maybe I could reproduce it on my end. Okay, let's check back in with Zulu Lima 3 November Lima Alpha. See if they have returned. This is Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar, Mike Oscar, your net control station for the Pride Radio Group Net. Alright, I think we've lost that station for good, so I'm gonna go ahead and strike them off the list, and if they wish to check back in at any time, they are more than welcome to do so. Alright, we're at the bottom of the list again, so if there's anyone out there that would like to check into the Pride Radio Group Net, feel free to come now with your call signs. Alright, one more time. If there's anyone else out there that would like to check into the Pride Radio Group Net, feel free to come now with your call signs. Alright, no dice there. As a reminder, our net is on NetLogger. You could follow along with the net through NetLogger. So if you'd like to see a list of the check-ins and follow along with that, download NetLogger on your Windows PC, Mac, or Linux via netlogger.org or .com. I forget which one is which. So just Google search NetLogger and you will see it. And one more thing. If you are not licensed and you're listening in via any of the broadcast links or through any of the repeaters connected to the network, I strongly urge you to test for your license exams, pass your exams, and get your ham radio license so that you could not only join this awesome net, but have others, have fun doing other radio things as well. So be sure to get your license if you'd like to join in on the ham radio fun. All right, we're going to send it back to VK2WAY. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station for the Pride Radio Group Net.
Yeah, this is VK2WAY returning into the Pride Radio Group Sunday afternoon, Sydney time net, and it's now 13:27 local time. So you've been on net now for just on 90 minutes, Kimberly, and not quite the 2.5 hours of last week yet. Not sure if we'll make it to there today. We all have things to move on with at some point, but thoroughly enjoying the conversation. I hope you're finding that HamRS software acceptable from a UI point of view and at least the usability point of view there, Ray. It's hard to find ham software that's acceptable as software. Let's just put it that way. Most of it is interesting, to say the least. And, it's... I think it can be compared to ham web design on the whole. Hi. All right. On that note, back to you, Net Control, KJ7OMO, VK2WAY.
VK2WAY, KJ7OMO returning. Alrighty, we're gonna send it over to VK2GPU, Graphics Processing Unit. Love the last three there. This is KJ7OMO, Old Mother Owl.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2GPU, and as you know, yes, that's exactly what it stands for, considering that's most of my day job is programming and optimizing and debugging GPUs day to day in video games. But as a software engineer as well, I like GK2WAY. I look at the UI for a lot of it, and I'm like, this is very much written by a programmer. And often just a programmer who's probably looked at other software and went, this does not do what I want or how I want it, and they do an equal job of doing it. Although I do have to say, so VK3 Fox has said that I can also use VKLookup.info for generating logs, and whilst that's Australia only, wow, that is a much simpler and easier to use interface than everything else that I've had a quick look at. But yeah, anything beyond Australia, that's going to be of absolutely no use for me, I don't think. Let me actually check. It might actually let me add to the logs. Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, it only lets you look up the VK, but everything else it just seems to let you add. So that's actually pretty useful. Maybe I'll use that for just idling about, but I wouldn't mind actually properly trying out HamRS, since I can use that on my phone, and that means I don't necessarily have to take my laptop out if I ever go portable, because I would not mind going out and doing some Poder at some point. I might give that a go in the next couple of weeks, or well, maybe once I've got a bit of SSD experience I'll try that. Let's not get ahead of myself. Anyways, back to you, Net Control, KJ7OMO. This was VK2GPU.
Alrighty, yeah, you definitely want to take one step at a time there, because, yeah, if you try to do too many things at one time, chances are it's going to become a disaster. Unless you like making things into disasters, then by all means do a million things at once. Hi. And I saw on Discord that you posted something very interesting. Like, on the list of nets, apparently we are wedged between a couple of other interesting sounding nets that are likely full of people who don't like us very much. So it's interesting to see us right between two nets that likely don't like us. So let's see if we can push ourselves to the very top of the list. Alright, speaking of lists, we're at the bottom of the list again, so let's see if we can get anybody else to check in. So, If anyone else would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net, feel free to come now with your call signs. Let's see if we can add more people to the list. KJ7OMO. Come on, people, there's no need to be shy. If you're hearing me, and if you'd like to make your presence known, in fact, I encourage you to make your presence known. So, yeah, if you'd like to check into our awesome net, feel free to come now with your call signs and make your presence known. Nothing for now, so we'll send it back to VK2WAY for more rambling. Hi, KJ7OMO.
VK2WAY returning to the net on a different mode, coming in via Echo Link this time because I'm back in front of a rebooted laptop. And for more rambling, you're the one who said it, not me, but I've said it plenty of times before. Let's see. I have sent some messages over to the folks in other groups I'm in to say, hey, if you're free on radio, come and join us for a bit of a QSY that's still going on for net, QSO that's still going on for a net over here. I'm sorry, I was slightly distracted. My brother is sending in photos of his ride for the day, which appears to be, actually I haven't even had time to identify the plane. His ride yesterday was a Robinson R-44 helicopter. His ride today looks more like a fixed-wing aircraft, but yeah, he's currently up doing post-flood recovery work around the Lismore area. So he's been up there on and off over the last few weeks, getting all kinds of different rides around. Today he's dropping off a plane load of supplies to a remote property that has been cut off for several days or something, and it looks like it includes all kinds of goodies there in the back of the plane. So that's what I'm up to now, and yeah, hoping we do get some other voices along to join us, and yeah, the state of software in ham radio. We could go on for hours about that one. I think my favorite is the web design, though, for EQSL. I think that, does it really want to be a 90s desktop? KJ7 OMO VK2 WAY.
Yeah, you got some good points there. Yeah, it's about time that EQSL updates their website to be not only more modern, but more user-friendly. I mean, that website is pretty awful when it comes to ease of use. They really need to fix that. So, yeah, if you could actually convince them to, hey, let me fix this. You, that is. You know, to, hey, let you fix it, and then you actually fix it. That would be really awesome. Alright, we're going to send it over to VK2 GPU. This is KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2 GPU. Yeah, just looking at some of the PRG QSL card artwork at the moment to get prepared to operate one of the club call signs on FSTV. And yeah, you're right. I do like to create disasters. That's what I'm incredibly good at, especially when I pick 5 or 6 things to do at any one time. Which reminds me, I should probably take my ADHD medication. Anyways, back to you, Net Control, KJ7OMO. This was VK2 GPU.
I saw a squirrel and it was doing something strange. Oh, what? What? Oh, what was that? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I saw a squirrel doing something and... Oh, what? What? I'm just kidding. Yeah, ADHD can be a pain in the butt sometimes. I have that too, so yeah, I know exactly what you're going through. All right, well, before more squirrels start in taking my attention away, let's see if we can let's see if others would like to join us. If there's anyone out there that would like to join the Pride Radio group net, feel free to come now with your call signs.
Sure, KO4TZ.
All right. Is your call sign Kilo Oscar 4 Tango Echo Zulu?
QSL.
All right, awesome sauce. Do we have anyone else that would like to check into the Pride Radio group net? Feel free to come now. All right. Do we have anyone else that would like to check into the Pride Radio group net? Don't be shy now. Make your presence known. Come now. All right, KO4TEZ. This is KJ7OMO. What kind of traffic do you have for the net? And even though I already know it, others might not. So, what pronouns do you use?
No formal traffic to pass, and they, them as primary.
Alrighty, and would you like to stay on the list and be called again?
Sure, go ahead and add me down. KO4TZ.
Alrighty, sounds good. We will call you again shortly. Is there anyone else out there that would like to check into the Pride Radio group net? Feel free to come now. Alright, doesn't look like it at this time, so we're gonna send it over to VK2WAY. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station.
KJ7OMO, thank you. VK2WAY returning to the Pride Radio group net, and big welcome. Quinn was it from the call sign, I think, from memory, at least from the great southern accent that's coming through there. It's slightly ruined by DMR. I'd like to go back to Echo Link so I get the full effect. But yes, I'm out on the balcony again on DMR because you know me, I can't use the same mode for more than an over or two. GPU, I'm surprised there. I thought all of those CUDA cores would allow for more parallel processing. Hi. You know, that's everything from me, KJ7OMO, VK2WAY.
All right, VK2WAYKJ7OMO returning. Let's send it over to VK2GPU. Let's see what else you have to say, KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2GPU, and yeah, Jared, there might be a lot of CUDA calls up here, but there's a massive amount of cache contention for memory that's gonna inhibit everything, and you know, if you don't flush caches at the appropriate time, you just lose that data, and then you're kind of lost. That's all from me. Back to net control, KJ7OMO. This was VK2GPU.
Alrighty. Over to KO4TEZ. TEZ KJ7OMO.
Good evening to everybody on the net. Not a whole lot to add, but small minor announcement. I got my first HF radio today, so I've been exploring that quite a bit today, and finally getting on the HF and discovering the world of that. Back to you, K4TZ.
Well, awesome. Congratulations on getting your HF radio. We ought to see if we can work each other on HF sometime after the net if you've got time. Alrighty, we're at the bottom of the list, so let's see if anyone else would like to join in on the fun. Feel free to come now if you'd like to check in to the Pride Radio Group net. Check-ins for the Pride Radio Group net. If anyone out there would like to check in, feel free to come now. Alright, back to VK2WAY for more entertaining rambling content. KJ7OMO. Content.
KJ7OMO, VK2WAY returning into the Pride Group net, and Ray, I'm still laughing at your response. That was even better than my comment. So, yeah, well done there, well done. And, yeah, contention for memory, cache contention, good call. I enjoyed the laugh on that one. Quinn, welcome to HF. Not really there much myself. I think I mentioned in one of the early overs on net that my only HF is a fixed frequency 7-point-something megahertz CW kind of little, I can't remember what the name of it was. It was a well-known open ham kit design. Fun to build, fun to test, but I really, my CW is not there to utilize it. I have just ordered a USDX little QRP, I think a 5 watt or a 10 watt or something. Can't even remember how powerful, but it's only a little QRP open design again, but assembled this time just because I can't be bothered to put it in radio phraseology. But yeah, I can't, so that should arrive shortly, and definitely have a the radio array has their GPU has the Zygu G90. Definitely have that high on the list to add here, but my balcony is incredibly constrained. Break. Let's make that proper break. And just a reminder to everybody, too, there is a lot of different modes connected, and the two things of note there is GPU. You're as trigger happy as I can be, so I'm not I'm not being critical there, but I tend to be very trigger happy on the PTT button as well. We do need to give a few extra seconds for some of the modes to reset throughout the network. And the other comment on that was, as well, is at the end of overs as well, just hold down the PTT for a bit longer. That's not necessarily Ray. That was, I think, more for Quinn, just so we can catch the very end of your over. Some of the network sees the dropout and drops the audio out earlier than what you would anticipate as it traverses our Pride network here. All right, that's rambling from VK2WAY back to KJ7OMO.
All right, VK2WAY, KJ7OMO returning. We'll need to figure out a way to fix that problem so that we don't have to hold our buttons for longer after we're done talking. There just gotta be a way to fix that issue, because that's rather an annoying issue. Though, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about the beginning of the transmission, so you'll still have to hold your button down for a little bit before talking. But if we could fix the tail end of the transmissions, that would be really awesome. Alright, we're gonna send it over to VK2 GPU. This is KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2GPU. To VK2WAY, I'm glad that you enjoyed the rest of the joke. I will try and keep in mind to give some time either side of PTT, just so that everything in the system that's linked up actually works. And yeah, KO4TZ, what HF radio did you end up getting? After the net, I would also be keen in maybe trying to QSO, because it would be kind of fun. I might only be able to reach you through FT8, unfortunately, and my CW is not good. I'm still slowly trying to learn to copy, but I've not actually practiced in a few days now. I'm mostly just been excited and just trying to have as much fun with my radio and license as I can, whilst it's the long weekend here. Yeah, VK2WAY, I've also got a 40-meter CW kit coming. I think it's the Pixie kit or something. It costs like $20 or so off eBay for the one I've got, but I'm actually looking forward to getting that put together. Currently building another end-fed half-wave so that I can take down the current one I've got at home, use that for portable, and throw up a new one. Got a beefier on unbuilt ups. Hopefully I can get a bit better efficiency out of it, but I did adjust my antenna last night, and it was supposed to, in theory, give me better coverage across Australia, but I think it might have actually just hurt my setup, might actually hurt how far I get out of it, because the antenna seems to have detuned, possibly due to maybe stretching the wire a little bit too much. So now it's not quite in tune on the bands. The antenna tuner can sort that out, but I'd rather not be relying on that. But yeah. The antenna's supposed to work without any of that. Anyways, back to net control, KJ7OMO, this was VK2GPU.
Alright, VK2GPU, KJ7OMO, your net control station returning. One thing that I suggest you try out is Juliet Sierra 8, JS8. It is a heavily modified version of FT8 that adds support for keyboard-to-keyboard communications. In other words, you can have actual QSOs on it. And you could also do other things like leave messages, for whoever you want to contact, or act as a repeater station and relay messages back and forth for others automatically, and a bunch of other cool stuff. There's a heck of a lot you could do with a JS8. And plus, you also have the option, in case if conditions are really terrible, you could actually adjust your bandwidth settings so that, say conditions are really bad, and the other station's having a hard time copying you, you could switch to a much narrower bandwidth, and chances are they'll be able to copy you fine. Or if both of you could copy each other very well, you might be able to get away with using the super fast modes to be able to communicate much quicker. So yeah, JS8 is a lot of fun. You should definitely try it out. If you can get FT8 to work, then you can get JS8 to work just as easily. Alright, we're going to send it over to KO4TEZ. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station.
Just giving it a little bit of time to catch up on PTT. I'm going through Echolink, and I've noticed that with Echo, there's quite a bit of a delay. I actually, when my internet connection is stable, I actually run the local repeater node from my radio out to the local repeater that's downtown, and I act as the Echolink node into that repeater. But I normally don't run it very often because my connection's so unstable. But hoping that Starlink will take care of those matters and hopefully resolve those. And yes, well, today is I'd got my general at the same time that I had got my technician class license, but it was 2 weeks before I ever got my general to actually get put in the ULS on my end because there was a filing issue within the VEC. When I took my test, I was given 2 CSCEs instead of just the 1, and they sent in, I think they just sent in the technician, forgot to send in the general, but it all got straightened out. So I just haven't been on HF because I haven't had an HF radio, and now I have a current loaner on hand until I get the 7300 in. I have a IC706MK Mark II G. Don't believe it has a mod for it, but currently I'm sitting here on it monitoring 40 meters FT8. I was going to try that out and see how it performed. And I also do have a straight key, so I could do a little bit of CW, but I'm not very proficient in it. Right now I'm still trying to figure out all the ins and outs of this radio. It's very menu driven. So trying to currently learn all the ins and outs of this radio. I've only had it on for about an hour, so it definitely has a learning curve. I will give it that. I'll give it back to Net Control, KO4TZ.
Yeah, that's not a bad radio. And the 7300 that is coming to you, that's also a fairly decent radio. At the moment, I have the IC718. It's a basic HF rig, and it does pretty good. I recently modified it, so that I can get access to the 60-meter band. Because, out of the box, the radio cannot transmit there, but upon modifying it, no problem transmitting on 60 meters. Though you could also transmit everywhere else too, including outside of ham bands, so yeah, gotta watch it there. And one of these days, if I ever get financially stable again, which probably won't happen for years to come, I would love to get my hands on the Yaesu FT991A. That's the radio that's on my wish list, and hopefully I'll be able to get it. And as for CW, well, I'm quite horrible at it. I only know enough just to call CQ, throw my call sign out there, and that's it. Everything else I rely on a computer to decode for me, which unfortunately fails to successfully decode about 3/4 or more of the time. And I would also need a translator to translate stuff into CW, but one of these days I'll learn it. It's just really tough for me to learn, but I'll figure it out one of these days. All right, well, we're at the end of the list now, so let's see if anyone else would like to make their presence known on the Pride Radio Group net. Feel free to come now with your awesome call signs. This is Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar Mike Oscar, your net control station for the Pride Radio Group net. Come now. Do we have anyone else that would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net? Feel free to come now. Alright, back over to VK2WAY for more entertainment. This is KJ7OMO.
Kilo Juliet 7. Oh my, you are not allowed to be entertaining over here on Ham Radio. Hi, VK2WAY returning to the Pride Radio Group. And welcome to almost the second hour of so-called not quite entertainment here on the Pride Radio Net. And marathon effort there, Kimberly again. And I think we hit 2.5 hours last week. We're heading towards it again once again. Ray, we talked a little while about going to observe, some Sonda launches from the airport. Super keen on that if you're keen at some point too. So let me know if that comes up anytime soon. And if you haven't come across them, I came across a great YouTube channel the other day, in fact, and ended up super chatting them multiple times and sending them some money because I was doing such an awesome job. But Sid Squad, they do a live stream from the car park at Sydney Airport with good view of Taxiway 8 and they run into the Qantas and FedEx terminals there, and they bring in air traffic control audio and have somebody at home bringing in tweets and things and messages. They do a pretty good stream, basically, is what I'm saying. So worth checking out there. And if we do go and do some Sonda launch observations, I wouldn't mind coordinating it with them and heading up and seeing what their kit looks like and hanging out with some streaming geeks while we're at it and kill 2 airport birds with one stone. No, I think you said that you can send CQ and your call and a few other things there. I don't really send. I'm still trying to get my head copy in. So I've been using Morsemania Break. Been using Morsemania on Android to get my copy down, but yeah, have not even tried sending yet in CW land. I hope that wasn't breaking the rules of being entertaining, KJ7LMO, VK2WAY.
Alright, VK2WAY, KJ7OMO returning. Alright. Awesome. And we'll send it over to PK2GPU now. And by the way, KO4TEZ, I saw your message just now on the NetLogger AIM window, and I sent you a response to that. So once you confirm that, I will fix that for you. So over to VK2GPU. This is KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2GPU. JS8 call, I've got it installed. I'm just trying to figure out how to get its cat control working through FLRig at the moment, like I've got set up for WSJTX. It's giving me a bit of trouble, but I'm sure I'll figure that out at some point. VK2Way, yes, I would actually like to find a time when we haven't had any launches we haven't had any landings on land in quite a while now. I would actually love to go observe a launch for one that's predicted to actually land and go basically start at the 6:30 in the morning, watch it launch, and then go actually track it and go and pick it up. Would be quite a drive, but that's I've got a car, so that's all right. But it was actually pretty good, actually seeing on the way back from my voice therapy lesson, which is down around that area. I spotted where they were launching. Anyways, back to net control. KJ7OMO. This was VK2 GPU.
VK2 GPU. This is KJ7OMO returning. I wonder how you will perform if I were to plug you into my PC as a graphics card and run some really heavy-duty games. I wonder how you could be able to process that. Yeah, I'm just messing around. Can't get enough of the VK2 GPU call sign. Alright, where was I? Alright, well, because of the distraction, I lost my train of thought, so we'll send it over to KO4TEZ, KJ7OMO.
It would appear that my connection is kind of starting to show itself again. So if I have any dropouts, I do apologize for that. Yes, I just saw your message in the NetLogger IM and have responded to that. I've also realized that I really need to invest in a computer just for ham stuff. I'm really surprised that this one
Alexa, testing 1, 2, 3.
Receiving. Over.
Alright, looks like KO4TEZ dropped out, so we're gonna send it back to them one more time, see if they can get their connection back. KJ7OMO.
yeah, it's temporarily back at the moment. I don't know how long it'll stay, so I'm going to go ahead and send it down to net control KO4TZ.
Alright, not a problem. Hopefully your connection stabilizes. Okay, we're at the end of the list again. So, let's see if anyone else would like to make your presence known. So, if you would like to check into the Pride Radio group net, now is your chance to make your presence known. So, feel free to come now with your call signs. Is there anyone out there that would like to check into the Pride Radio group net? Feel free to come now. Alright, nothing heard at this time. We're gonna send it back to VK2-Way, VK2WAY for more funny business. Hi, KJ7OMO.
VK2WAY returning to the Pride Radio group net. Only 2 comments on that one there, and I can't even read my handwriting for the second one, actually. Oh, yes, we need to do something about the internet in Alabama. That sounds like something we need to do something about there, Quinn. Dropouts station happiness 2022. Admittedly, I'm on fibre in a CBD central business district area of Sydney, so I might be a little privileged there. So are you in a regional area of Alabama? I think is the question to you. And Ray, does that make it, when we go out drinking, is that SLI? Is that a two-way, 2 GPU? Hi. Back to net control, KJ7OMO, VK2WAY.
All right, VK2WAY, KJ7OMO, your net control station returning. Sending it over to VK2GPU.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2GPU. VK2WAY, I didn't quite catch what you said there, so I will quickly pass over to you just to clarify what that was you said. Something two-way. Over.
VK2 GPU, I said, when we go out drinking, does that make it SLI, two-way to GPU? Back to you.
VK2A, yep. Copied that fine. Possibly is, yeah. And it probably comes with all the same inefficiencies of transferring large amounts of memories between GPUs, if that's the case. Yeah, still having a bit of trouble getting JS8 call set up. I probably just need to actually upgrade some software on this laptop before as it's constantly whinging at me about hamlib. So anyways, back to net control, KJ7OMO, this was VK2 GPU. Over.
All right, VK2 GPU, KJ7OMO returning. Yeah, that part of JS8 is a little bit screwy. So the way I set mine up is, well, I'll be able to explain it to you on Discord here when we're done. But basically, I set it up in a way that does not involve the use of cat controls whatsoever. And no, I'm not talking about my kitty cat. Hi. Instead, I let the relay of the Signalink USB interface do all the PTTing. And even if I wanted to use the cat controls, well, sadly I can't do that because on the very first day I bought the radio and I plugged in the cat cable and started transmitting, well, because my antenna is so close to my house, all that RF backfed into the USB cable and into the radio, and it basically fried something that enabled the radio to talk to the computer. So as a result, the radio is no longer capable of talking to the computer. But I'm so doggone lucky that the radio itself is still operational. Though unfortunately I also lost the USB cable to that too. So, yeah, there's that. So, let me reset for a moment. There we go. Alright, I had to switch windows here. So yeah, that's basically how I how my station is set up there. So I'm gonna send it over to KO4TEZ. This is KJ7OMO.
Okay, 04. Okay, to answer the question about regional access, I did try. We did try the other day. Trying to find a close-by repeater that would maybe get in that way, a little bit more stable internet connection out. But unfortunately, it was kind of mute. We did find one particular repeater that seemed a little promising, but unfortunately it was only allowing the PL to get into the repeater, and there was no audio, so could receive, could not transmit. So, but maybe we could try that again, or maybe there's something that could be worked out on the HF side of things now that I have the HF antenna and HF radio. We'll just have to play it by ear and try and see what May can come up with. But back to net control, KO4TZ.
KO4TEZ, KJ7OMO returning. Yeah, we can go ahead and try experimenting again after the net is over. And another comment for VK2GPU. I found the setting that I use. I've actually set my copy of JS8 to use Vox. Victor Oscar X-Ray Vox. That's what I set it up as, and it seems to work perfectly fine. I just had to basically adjust the delay setting of my signal link so that it's able to work properly with the Vox setup. So yeah, that's how I set it up. All right, so we're at the end of the list again. Let's see if anyone else would like to make their presence known. So if anyone out there would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net, feel free to come now with your awesome call signs. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station. All right, I heard a brief transmission there, so we're going to make another call for more check-ins. This is KJ7OMO. If you'd like to check into the Pride Radio Group net, feel free to come now.
With me, VK2WAY, now on FM bar ROT, mobile and barefoot down the street at the bottle shop. Back to you.
All right, copy that. Anyone else that would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net, feel free to come now. All right, it's all crickets, so we're going to send it back to VK2WAY to drown those annoying crickets out. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station.
We're returning, stand by, go over to GPU and I'll be back in the next over.
Alright, you're sounding a bit rough, by the way, but we did copy you. Alright, VK2GPU, KJ7OMO. It's your turn.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2GPU. I don't really have anything to add right now, so I'll just pass it back to Net Control. KJ7OMO, this is VK2GPU.
Alright, no problem. KO4TEZ, KJ7OMO. It's your turn.
Alright, KO4TZ, and just still listening a little bit on 40 for some FT8. And so far, I think it's managed to pick up about 200 different stations. So that's kind of interesting. I had considered, there was talk of the HF, and I thought maybe that may be something of interest to try. I'm not sure exactly what the best modes and stuff for when it comes to HF would be. I've experimented with SSTV briefly on 2 meters, and I normally would send that the PD picture mode. It seemed like it had the most best of quality, and I've had good experience out of that with 2 meters, so I thought maybe I'd give HF a try and maybe get some information about all things SSTV on HF. It is sent back to Net Control, KL4TZ.
All right, KO4TEZ, KJ7OMO returning. Yeah, SSTV on HF is pretty fun, and there is a list of standard SSTV frequencies out there. And I'll have to look for it because I lost the information. But I do know the frequencies of two of them. On 20 meters, SSTV is usually on 14.230. 14.230 is the usual frequency for that. Though you could hear it everywhere else, obviously. But that's where they tend to congregate at. As for 40 meters, well, unless you're an extra class operator in the either the grandfathered advanced, or if you are a extra class operator in the US, you're not gonna be able to have access to this frequency until you upgrade. But if you are either advanced or extra in US, or if you are allowed access to the to that portion of the 40-meter band in your country, then 7.171, I think. 7.171. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 7.171 is the normal frequency for SSTV on 40 meters. Though, again, it can be found on other parts of the band. So, there's no limit on where you could throw SSTV up as long as you only do it on the voice portion of the band and not on the digital only portion. Because, yeah, FCC will not be happy if you throw SSTV out in the digital-only portion of the band. All right. Now that that's out of the way, let me reset real quick. All right, KJ7OMO returning. All right. We're at the bottom of the list again, so let's see if anyone else would like to check into the Pride Radio group net. Feel free to come now if you'd like to make your voices heard. Come on, people. You know you want to check in. If you'd like to check in, feel free to come now. With your awesome call signs, of course. Alrighty, nothing at this time, and so far we've been on the net now for almost 2.5 hours. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes so far, according to the YouTube streaming software. Back over to VK2WAY. This is KJ7OMO, and before I drop out, just a reminder to everyone else, we're on NetLogger, so if you'd like to see the list of check-ins And follow along, download NetLogger on your Windows, Macintosh, or Linux computers. And if you just now stumbled upon us, you don't have your license, but you've been listening in, and you're interested in joining the net, make sure you take your examinations and pass your exams and get your ham radio license, because we would love to have you on the air. All right, over to VK2WAY now. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station. VK2WAY, are you there? KJ7OMO. Alright, well, looks like we lost VK2WAY, so we'll check back with them later. Maybe they're one way at the moment. Hopefully they can go back to being two-way again and be able to transmit again. Alright, VK2GPU, KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2GPU. Just sat here doing a little bit of rewiring. Noticed that a couple of my power cables are a slight bit of melt on them to my HF radio. That thing shouldn't be pulling any more than an amp, but yeah, I'm gonna just solder some fatter cables together and maybe lower the fuse a little to something a bit more reasonable, because I am very skeptical of the fuse that came with it, that it's 10 amps. It's a 12-volt radio. It should not be having too much trouble. Like, it shouldn't be pulling more than a couple of amps at 10-watt transmission, really. Anyways, back to net control, KJ7OMO, VK2GPU.
VK2GPU, KJ7OMO returning. Well, I do recommend that you look at the manuals of the radio. It should tell you specifically what fuse to use, and use whatever they recommend. But for their wires to get really hot, that's definitely not a good sign, so definitely give it thicker wire for sure. That's pretty important. And who knows, maybe your radio will work better after you give it better power. But definitely use whatever the manual tells you to use when it comes to fuses. Alright, so we're going to send it over to K04TEZ. This is KJ7OMO.
Getting him back. K04TZ. Yes, I had been on the fence about going ahead and getting my extra class. We did recently have a local ham fest at another club, neighboring club, but I did not end up go ahead and getting the extra at that time. I was still on the fence about it, and I figured I needed to get a little bit more practice and review of some of the test material, because I was a little rushed studying for that portion. But I am probably going to go ahead come September. We are supposed to be having a local fest for our club in September, and I'm going to probably go ahead and just get my extra and have it out of the way with. Luckily, we shouldn't be affected by the new FCC fees, to my understanding. Since we already have our licenses, the upgrades are at no charge, but they are charging the $35 for all new calls. So I'm going to go ahead and try to go ahead and get the extra out of the way with. Plus, it would be most beneficial to go ahead and get it because for my VE status. That way I can go ahead and test the generals and extras as well instead of just text only. Figure that'd be most resourceful. But I will send it back to Net Control, KO4TZ.
This is KJ7OMO returning. Yeah, I hear you on that. I've been trying to get my extra, and so far I've been failing quite miserably. I'm struggling quite a lot to remember the contents of the materials and pass the test, but I'm trying. It's just not easy, but I'm trying. And one of these days I will pass extra, because there's a lot of reasons why I'm looking to get extra. For one thing, well, I would like more spectrum to be able to play on. Another thing is, well, I would like to start traveling the world, and some countries won't let me use my license in their jurisdictions unless it's an extra class license. So that's another thing there. And of course, I would love to one of these days do volunteer examiner stuff. So having extra would be very handy for that. So yeah, I do wish you good luck on getting the extra license, and yeah, just keep at it and just don't give up. Alright, well, we're back to the bottom of the list again, so hopefully we get more folks added. So if you'd like to make your presence known on the Pride Radio Group Net, feel free to come now. Anyone, anywhere. Feel free to come now. Alright, do we have anyone else that would like to check in at this time? Feel free to come now. This is KJ7OMO. Alright, we got nothing at this time, so we're gonna send it back to VK2WAY. Hopefully you're back to being two-way again instead of being one-way. So, VK2WAY, it's your turn again, KJ7OMO.
Yeah, KJ7OMO, VK2WAY, just making sure I'm making it to you. Come back to me and I'll come back to you.
Loud and clear.
Copy that, and VK2WAY returning to the Pride Radio Group and Net, and thanks for the report there, KJ7OMO. Let's see, I did have a couple of things for this round. I think we're cracking the 2.5 hour mark today, and that's good news. I have a question for VK2 GPU over there, Ray. Are you planning to head up to Mayhem? Which is that came up from Quinn's mention there of the local ham festival-y events that are going on there, and Mayhem is one here local to VK2, one of the biggest in Australia, if not the biggest, and yeah, I'm hoping we can get a group of the Pride Radio Group of folk up at Mayhem, and while there, on the subject of licensing, I'm hoping to sit my US General, and I'm thinking that if I could have any call I wanted, it would be Whiskey Alpha 3-Way. Back to you, Net Control, KJ7OMO, VK2WAY.
Oh, shoot. VK2WAY KJ7OMO returning. Oh boy, three-way Jared. Oh boy, I wonder what what kind of shenanigans you'll be doing, getting yourself into once you get a third way implemented. All right, VK2 GPU KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2 GPU. On the fuse that came with its power supply, which is 10 amps, and I'm like, are you seriously kidding? I'm pretty sure that this maximum 20-watt radio should not be requiring that many amps. But yeah, I think what's actually happened is the cable that I've put together has probably just got damaged slightly. Like, my setup is not amazing, it's just got damaged slightly, so it's got a bit warm. Would explain why the voltage has been dropping a little on the radio, but yeah, hopefully have that fixed. Unfortunately, JCar is probably shut today, so I'm just having to cobble together with some spare parts I have lying around, but I definitely think I need to build myself a bit of a beefier cable and better power supply. I'm actually running the thing off battery of things. VK2 Wait, I have not heard of Mayhem, but I'm just going to have to look that up and maybe see about it. It'll pretty much depend a lot on my work schedule for things, but I definitely want to check it out and see what it's all about. Bounce Net Control, KJ7OMO, this is VK2 GPU.
Alright, VK2 GPU, KJ7OMO returning. Well, I did some testing here on my HF rig. At 10 watts, it draws about 6 amps, somewhere around 6 amps. And at 20 watts, it draws about probably around 8 amps. And then at 40 watts, it draws 10 amps. And at full power 100 watts, it draws about probably 18 amps, fairly close to 20 amps. So that probably will give you an idea of how much power you need to feed into your radio, but it's probably a good idea to give it about a 30 amp power supply if you can, or maybe even a 20 amp power supply should work for your particular radio. So anyways, hopefully you get that problem sorted, and I'm gonna send it over to KO4TEZ KJ7OMO.
KO4TZ. One project I've been considering, I don't know if anybody else has messed with anything in this realm of, but I was looking into that open repeater project, and I noticed that there's a variant of that project that is surrounded about on the Pi Zero board, my little module boards. And I thought maybe I could try my hand at maybe taking the idea of getting a Pi Sugar battery that's made for these particular Pis. They're supposed to be a battery slash UPS unit that you can put on these boards. I think you can set the UPS particularly where you can have it reserve off solar power. And I thought maybe about implementing those onto one of these boards, and alongside of it putting a interface board that I believe is made also for the Pi Zero for that particular project, and you could have your very own portable throw around in your pocket repeater that would run off solar power. I thought that would be a pretty neat project. I wonder if anybody else has done anything similar like that. Maybe share some thoughts. KO4TEZ, back to net control.
This is KJ7OMO, your net control station returning. I've actually played with Open Repeater for a while, and I actually had that going on Echolink, but after I've gotten sorted with All-Star Link, I I basically wiped out the Open Repeater installation, and I installed the All-Star Link software in its place, which also includes built-in support for Echo Link. And ever since, I've been running All-Star on the system. And if you haven't done so already, I do recommend signing up for All-Star so that you can be able to get a node number from them one of these days and get better access to the network. Because sometimes Echo Link tends to have poor audio quality, though recently Echo Link did started making improvements to the audio quality, so hopefully Echo Link would start working better, though some Echo Link nodes are still stuck on the old audio codecs, which sound quite bad. So I'm not sure if Open Repeater has updated their stuff on that, but hopefully they did. So yeah, Open Repeater is a very capable program. It's very good. But later on, I recommend using All-Star, because at least you'll have access to 2 different networks as opposed to only one. So you get All-Star, and then you get Echo Link 2 on top of that. So, little food for thought there. Alright, so we're at the bottom of the list again, so let's see if anyone else out there that would like to check in and break the sound of crickets. So, yeah, that's not here crickets, that's here more people checking in. So, if you'd like to check into the Pride Radio Group net, now is the time to make your presence known. So come now with your awesome call signs. Anyone else that would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net, feel free to come now with your call signs. Alright, no one else at this time, so we're going to send it back over to VK2WAY. This is KJ7OMO. What other ramblings do you have for us?
I'm sure I do something other than ramble, Kimberly. This is Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee, returning to the Pride Radio Group net. I've been paying attention this time. I'm sitting out on the balcony, and I think that's beer 3 now that I've been to the bottle shop and back. But yes, Quinn, you're speaking my language now. ESP32 lipo charges is something that I do here on Solar, and I have a video of my last over, actually, where or at least a photo I may have sent, or something. I'll send it up to the group shortly, where you can see one of the little solar panels that I use in one of my projects in the background. As Kimberly mentioned to you, though, All-Star, have a look. I played with Open Repeater as well. I was not impressed. It's good for what it is, but All-Star does a lot more, and building some homebrew gear for Vox interfacing to a radio is fairly trivial too. Kimberly can elaborate on that one and has some, I think, some Baofeng links set up there, I think, from memory. But I strongly recommend it, and Kimberly mentioned it's Echo Link support, but I have to take it a step further. It's based on Asterix, the open source PBX system, so it supports SIP and IAX and USRP, which is what we run the backbone of this network on, which is the GNU radio protocol, the Universal Software Radio Peripheral protocol. which is an interesting one for remote controlling other things or interfacing to your new radio with. So yeah, lots and lots of options there. The other thing I've played with a lot, if you're into the digital side of things, is the Homebrew Repeater project, which the free DMR core is based on, and doing some development over there has meant that I'm super familiar with that. But break for a moment. Circling back around to the top of what I was mentioning is over my my current ESP32 projects for the balcony, which turning around look like they're flat at the moment due to the power bank out here being flat and the solar panel not being connected to them right now. They are both being replaced shortly with another one. One is a weather station. It's the MySol components on an ESP32 that will be replaced shortly by a 433 megahertz reader for a different weather station, but the other one is the Tiny GS project, which I'm about to abandon in favor for playing with APRS over LoRa, because I think that's kind of cool. Back to Net Control, KJ70MO, VK2WAY.
VK2WAY, KJ70MO returning, and yeah, I would have to agree. All-Star is a far superior system than Open Repeater. And another thing you can do with All-Star is if you have a VoIP account, like a VoIP telephone account, you could actually hook that up to All-Star and be able to place phone calls over the radio with it. That is such an amazing thing. I actually have that set up on my repeater, though I don't have that on at the moment because I'm having some technical difficulties with actually getting the repeater to accept DTMF properly. So, as much as I would love to demonstrate it, well, I can't right now. And plus, it is... And plus, I have the radios on it turned off at the moment because of jamming that occurred yesterday. So, yeah, it is what it is. But, yeah, and that's just, yeah. So, we'll send it over to VK2GPU. This is KJ70MO, your net control station.
KJ7OMO, VK2 GPU. Yeah, I'm just put a cable together testing through a benchtop power supply I've got, and yeah, it's pulling under 4 amps when transmitting at 10 watts. So it's not as ridiculous as I was expecting. So that's good to know. But I've got a new cable put together that I should be able to run off the battery now. Shortened the thinner end of the cable down to as short as I can get the damn thing, and gone with much thicker gauge for most of the run. Do still need to actually set up a nice 12-volt power supply that isn't one of the beefy power packs that can just be recharged off solar or off mains, which is what I use it for. It's actually my backup power supply if I have a power outage around here. It runs the radio pretty well, but hopefully I get less of a voltage drop over the cables now. And, you know, maybe not start melting where the connectors are, which would be absolutely nice, but at least there's no failure here. And BK2WAY, yeah, you were mentioning working with the SP32s. I've only poked around with them a little bit. I've got quite a collection of them, but I'd actually quite like to do some APRS stuff at some point. I'd like to set up an iGate at my place, not that we're that low on them in Sydney, but I've also got, I have to look it up, but I have got an APRS board coming with built-in GPS, and I think a 1 watt transmit. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet, but I'll probably stick it in the car or something for whenever I'm going portable or anything, so I can actually just have that position transmit out, and maybe even set up some kind of environmental sensors and stuff as well. Anyways, back to Net Control, KJ70MO, this was VK2GPU.
Alright, VK2GPU, KJ70MO returning. Alright, well that's good news. At least the radio is working properly now, and You got everything sorted. So yeah, I'd say a 10 amp fuse would be good enough for it. Mine has a 20 amp fuse. So, because of how much power it uses. So, yeah. So yeah, good that you've got it going again, and yeah, definitely look forward to trying out HF with you and TEZ when the net is over, if the both of you have time. So speaking of TEZ, we'll send it over to KO4TEZ. This is KJ7OMO. If I could just get my mouse to cooperate and let me click on the button to stop transmitting. Here we go. KJ7OMO over to KO4TEZ.
That's quite all right. KO4TZ. Yes, I've got a little bit of experience under Asterisk before. I've actually implemented it as a internal PBX for my household. That way we could pretty much have our own intercom system throughout the property. It's the initial usage for that. That's part of my home lab. But so I have played around with that just a hair. I just haven't really messed with it that much in the Hamsphere. So, but that may be something I would try to change. Now, the only thing is with the open repeater was actually just what I had come across the one day. I hadn't really explored a whole lot into All-Star, although I do have an All-Star account set up. I just haven't really messed around with it all that much. So I just had a couple of uses of these old Pi 01s, and I thought maybe I could figure out a use for them. Now they have come out with the Pi 2 variant. Don't know what all the new specs is, but supposedly it's supposed to be 10 times faster than the original Pi Zeros, but I have not been able to test one out for myself yet. Now, as far as the open repeater, as far as the use as the Zeros go, I was actually thinking of having an open repeater for it because I wanted to build a small, low power, just a repeater for mostly experimental use, because I have an interest in the old AX25 type BBS systems, talking like the old Cycronet and Mystic-like type old DOS bulletin board systems. I have a little interest in that, and I also wanted to do a little bit in the with some experimentation for my speech synthesis stuff, because that's also something else I like. There's a couple more details about that on my QRZ if y'all have been on yet or not, but mostly it'd be towards messing around with that. Also been dwelling in a little bit of neural networking, and been finding some interesting things with that going on with FreeDV. Found out about with that using Codec 2, and they are implementing neural nets into that to increase the overall quality of that codec over FreeDV, over HF, and they're quite coming along. It's a little couple of steps ahead of the regular GSM audio, but so far so good, at least from the demos that they have demonstrated and that I've come across. But I'll get back to net control, KO4TEZ.
KO4TEZ, KJ7OMO returning. Alright, well, yeah, I don't think All-Star will be able to run on those tiny little Pi Zeros, since they don't have a whole lot of processing power and RAM. But if there's a version of Open Repeater that can run on those little tiny Pis, then yeah, by all means, go for it. And another thing you can do with those Pis, if you were to those little Pi Zeros, if you were to obtain a simplex MMDVM hotspot hat, of course you'll have to solder some components on it, but it's very easy to do. It's very minimum soldering that you have to do. Then yeah, you plug one of those into the Raspberry Pi, install Pi Star on it, and you'll have access to various digital voice networks if you have the appropriate radios to access them with. And you could also be able to do cross-moding with it too. So say, for example, you have a DMR radio and you want to access to a Fusion network. Well, you could set the Pi-Star hotspot to act as a bridge between your DMR radio and the Fusion network, and you'll be able to access, the networks that way. And of course, you'll be able to do other fun stuff with that too. So yeah, if you got a digital radio and you want to get into digital voice modes, then yeah, definitely check out the MMDVM hats for the Raspberry Pis. So, anyways, yeah, that's another thing you could do with that, and yeah, and as for the other stuff, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun experimentation there. All right, we're at the bottom of the list again, so if there's anyone else out there that would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net, feel free to come now. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station for the Pride Radio Group net. Alright, do we have anyone else that would like to check into the Pride Radio Group net? Feel free to come now. Boy, it is very quiet out there in Radio Land. We're gonna send it back to VK2WAYKJ7OMO. What other things do you have to say? Doesn't matter if rambling or not. Over to you now.
KJ7OMO, VK2WAY returning, never, ever, ever, ever rambling this side. Well, I wouldn't do that now. And huge thanks out there to Ray and Quinn for making sure this isn't just the Jared and Kimberly show, but we can do that if we have to. I have a couple of notes here. Let's see. AX25, yes. So I'm going to sound like a OT right now, and that's an older them for those who aren't familiar with the OTs. I built a BBS in the 90s in Perl for a Xenix platform with VK2 CJB, and he still does a lot of AX25. But in I think it was late primary school, late grade school, I was utilizing an Apple IIe that had an X25 link out to the world. Fun times. And as recently as a couple of years ago, I still had an active PhotoNet node number. As for All-Star, I have an Ethernet port here. That's right, an Ethernet port that I reckon could run All-Star. It has a mixed CPU. It can run kernel 5. I reckon I could run All-Star on it. You'd be surprised what you can get away with. My favorite architecture is a 180 megahertz, 4 megabit of RAM, but ESP32, which, coming back around to what Ray was saying, Break. Oh, I have projects for the ESP32 from the emergency one I deployed in the aquarium yesterday to report coverage to the house to these little Heltec boards, which I'm quite impressed with, which have a UHF radio on board. And that's the one that's currently running the Tiny GS here, but will be repurposed for other lower activities, I think. I haven't pushed to see how far up or down the band it goes. I don't think it goes too far out of ISM, but if I can push it up to amateur UHF, that would be kind of fun too, I think. No DSP on it, so I'd have to do that externally, but there's no reason I couldn't data shunt. Back to you, KJ7OMO, VK2WAY.
VK2WAYKJ7OMO returning. Sounds like you're having a lot of fun there with that. Whatever it is. My mind has been going into ADHD mode, so for a little while I wasn't able to pay attention, but I've snapped out of it and I'm back until the next squirrel comes. Oh, wait, is that a squirrel? All right, over to VK2 GPU KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, this is BK2 GPU. Yep, radio's going fine now. Voltage drop is a lot lower. I'm pretty happy. We'll still build a much better power solution because I would actually like to have something where I can run a few more bits of kit off the same 12 volt line. Well, 13.8 is what I will want. This is just a little over 12 volts because it's what I have on hand, and it seems to be fairly low noise, especially for a piece of JTAR equipment, which is quite impressive. But yeah, I'm just actually running Wisp at the moment at 10 watts just to see where I'm getting out to for if we're going to do anything after this nest. And it seems that 40 seems pretty closed off to the US at the moment. 15, I'm hitting the west coast. I'm going to be trying on 10 meters as well. To see how far I can actually get out, to see where the biggest chances are. We do want to QSO aesthetic. Right, back to you, PJ7OMO, back to yours, DK2 GPU, and over.
VK2 GPU KJ7OMO returning. Alright, well, that's some good news there. And once you're able to feed 13.8 volts into it, you should be able to get better results out of that radio, but it should work fine on the 12 volts that you have. So, alright, awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely do some testing later on after the net. Alright, KO4TEZ, it's your turn now, KJ7OMO.
KO4TZ, I believe that there is a variant for the 0 pies for when it comes to open repeater, but I believe it's fully command line based. With that, I can barely, with the newest release for Raspbian on these things, I did try that out recently, and no, just stick with the command line. did not have much experiences with the desktop environment, so. But that's fine. I can pretty much manage with the CLI. But one thing I had to consider doing, asterisk around the things with these pies, is that I would maybe implement auto patch back onto the local repeater, make use of that. But instead of going through SIP trunk service, I would actually be going and trying to get it to work through Google Voice and use the Google Voice service. With that, free number, free voicemail, and all the like of that. I'd have to check all of the red tape around that particular use case, but I believe it could be something that could be beneficial and low cost in the long run. So thought that would be something I may look into. The only particular use I have for the pies right now that I'm using is I do have the one pie that I have set up that's set up as a direwolf intercept is working as a TNC that I have attached onto my ICOM 800H onto the speaker. I have it split off on that line, and I have that split into a small USB sound card that is into the Raspberry Pi, and that is running direwolf, and I'm also running that as a APRS digipeater as well. So that's two birds in one stone. I'll send it back to Net Control, KO4TEZ.
KO4TEZ, KJ7OMO returning. Alright, well, I'm pretty sure you'll find a purpose for those unused Raspberry Pis. Speaking of Raspberry Pis, I'm thinking about getting me another one and using it for something. Not sure what yet. But not right now because, yeah, money's tight. Anyways, we're at the bottom of the list again, and let's see if anyone else would like to join in. So, if anyone else would like to join in on this net, feel free to come now. All right, do we have anyone else that would like to join in on the Pride Radio Group net at this time? Feel free to come now with your awesome call signs. This is KJ7OMO. No dice at this time. Over to VK2WAY from KJ7OMO, your net control station for the Pride Radio Group net.
KJ7OMO, VK2WAY returning, and let's see. Pies on a budget. I love my orange pies. They are pretty much a pie. They run Albion. Some stuff won't run as well as other things. Notably, the Pie Star image. I've had trouble with that one. But you know me, I will make it work. One of my favorite things is to make things work, especially in the ARM architecture. It's one of my favorites. So one of the recent things I've done this week, for those who weren't following along in the NetOps channel on Pride PRG, was that it started Dockerizing the entire MMVDM suite, so that each of the apps get built for their relevant platforms. Some of them will only run on ARM, thanks to the utilization of a MD380 firmware. And in saying that, the hardware in an MD380 is actually pretty minimal. So the what's required to run the Ambi codec, other than an Ambi chipset, if you're not doing it in software, is pretty minimal if you have the rest of that supporting board, which is how the things that do it, and some of it does it software. So I run a lot of MD380MU in cloud for various DMR-like bridges, so it was a fairly easy jump to building that CM tool set in Docker for the whole lot. But I digress from the Pi thing, which is just all because it's ARM. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Orange Pi, and have a bunch of them. I even have a NanoPi R2S, which serves as the router here at QTH. It's a dual gigabit NIC Pi that I just run OpenWRT on, and WireGuard, and it does a fantastic job, better than any commercial off-the-shelf one. Anyway. Rambling. Welcome to the third hour of net here. It is just past 5 a.m. UTC, 3:04 local time here in Sydney, Australia. And gonna hand it back to net control, KJ7OMO. This has been VK2WAY.
VK2WAY KJ7OMO returning. Interesting stuff there. I'm thinking about repurposing one of my Raspberry Pis as my actual router. Yeah. Since my router is starting to show signs of glitching, and glitching is no good with routers. But yeah, at the moment, I've got a Raspberry Pi that's running Pi-hole, which acts as network filter for to block out not only annoying advertisements, but I've also added some stuff in there to hopefully block out some known malware sites as well. So that works out quite well. It sure as that gives my network a much better experience. And then I have a couple of pies, each running All-Star. One of them controls my bow phone repeater, which, again, I don't have turned on at the moment because of jamming. And the other one is controlling my Simplex Shari node. And then I got, yes, another Pi. Another Pi that runs my duplex MMDVM hotspot, which I mainly use for DMR. And then I got a couple of Pi Zeros. Yes, Pi Zero Ws. And they both are plugged into Simplex MMDVM hotspots. And one of them is just a spare, and the other one both acts as my POXAG transmitter and also my gateway into YSF networks. And that's pretty much what I have. As for the Pi running the Pi hole, I plan on doing other stuff with it too, such as file sharing stuff, file storage stuff, and a DVR for recording TV shows off the off the airwaves, and using an antenna and a bunch of other stuff, and probably run the router on that. Run that as a router as well. Let me reset. And run it as a router as well. That is my most powerful Raspberry Pi that I have. It's the Pi 4 with 8 gigabytes of RAM and quite a nice CPU to it, so it's capable of doing a lot of things at once. But anyways, I am starting to ramble on. Starting to take up Jared's habits there, rambling. Alright, over to VK2 GPU, KJ7OMO.
KJ7OMO, this is VK2 GPU. I will probably be jumping off the net after this, and my wife's out of bed, and I just want to go say hi and chat with her for a bit before doing a bit more radio stuff this afternoon. To VK2WAY, looked up the Mayhem. I can't guarantee they'll make it. That weekend I'm actually at a queer medieval festival in the inner west on the Saturday, and Sunday I haven't got any plans yet, but I might come up because it's not all that far a drive from me. And is that where you're planning on doing your US qualification? I'm just noticing here. I'm wondering if they'd have some examinations for standard and advanced, because I would actually be quite tempted to just go, screw it, I'll just fit either my standard or advanced there and just see how I go. Like, why not if I can pull it off? Anyways, I'll listen for another round, but I will probably ask to be dropped off the net, and I will catch you all later. 73, back to UKJ7OMO. This was VK2 GPU.
Alright, VK2 GPU KJ7OMO returning. Yeah, I probably need to get going as well, because my voice is starting to show signs of straining, and I want to take a break before I get back onto radio and start playing with HF. My legs are also starting to give me hell because I haven't been moving as much as I should. And I really ought to start moving more often because, being on being on hormones, you're supposed to be moving every now and then in order to reduce blood clot risks. So I think after the net's over, I'm gonna take a break, walk around for a bit, and then come back, fire up the HF radio, and see what I can do. So, okay, we're gonna send it over to KO4TEZ, KJ7OMO.
I've tried hands for the diet pie and stuff. I've run that on a couple of the pies and run a couple select services on those. I am in the need of at some point, at least it'd probably be whenever I get my Starlink set up. That way I'll have some better internet connection and I can properly redo my entire configuration of everything how I've got it set. I would like to rebuild and do a proper home lab rack that I've got in mind. I've pretty much figured out what all I want to run on it and what all I want to accomplish with it, but I just hadn't really had the funds at the moment to dedicate towards both starting on that project and also had lots of other stuff going on with the club. I recently just became pretty much just became their club webmaster, so now I'm considering setting up some kind of small system for them. They currently pretty much just right now I'm hosting the site off the QSL.net, and I would like to possibly just self-host the stuff at the club house on a machine there. Although VPS isn't completely off the table, but I figure, especially with this stuff that just recently happened with Google and the workspace ordeal that's going on now, that's all the more reason to actually self-contain everything and go the self-host route. At least for our needs, I don't think we would have a big threat factor with our use case, and it's pretty small in scope of what we would be doing. The current plan, at least I have in my mind, is we'd have a machine that would serve as a dedicated host for the website, a file repository, and possibly a Git instance, or maybe set up with a GitLab over Docker, something like that. Way we can, those that are devs in the club can have a central repository that they can work off of just for the club-related stuff and pull from. Thought it would be most useful, and maybe set up something through IceCast. Although I already have our stuff set up through Broadcastify, would not be against having it set up in the site where you could listen to the stream of the local repeater from the site. Currently, I have something makeshift set up right now. It actually, I have a set up on my computer right now. It will actually record our nets and stuff of the repeater. And the highlights of the repeater traffic from the nets in our roundtable, and it will publish those onto the club site for recap, and then it automatically gets replaced on the site when the next week rolls over and we have our next net. Then it replaces the file that's on the site, and the old file goes into cold storage. But it's probably going to be a work in progress, and just have to see where it goes. Back to Net Control, KO4TEZ.
Alright, KO4TEZ, KJ7OMO returning. Yeah, hopefully that Starlink will come in and will help you out with the internet issues, though it's probably a good idea to keep your original internet connection for at least a while after you get your Starlink, until Starlink stabilizes everything. Because for right now, Starlink does not have enough satellites up, so you're not guaranteed to have full-time service until, Starlink gets their act together and gets everything sorted. So it's a good idea to always have a fallback option in case if you're not getting anything through Starlink at a particular moment. And as for the Google thing, yeah, I've had my domain on Google for a long time using their free plan, and it really sucks that they are doing away with that. And it's been a real headache for me, but I did manage to, after a lot of extreme struggling, to try and to get my data off of Google and import it to my own custom email server. So now all my emails are going to a server that I have 100% control over, which is a VPS. And speaking of VPS, yeah, a VPS would be a pretty good option for you. Would be a pretty good option for what you need to to do, and there's quite a few companies out there that would, that are fairly good hosts for VPS servers. And as for Icecast, yeah, definitely have that as a second option for sure, because Broadcastify does not always work, so it's nice to have another option to stream the network. Our network, as you may know, is streamed via Broadcastify and also via Icecast, and those streams are 24/7. Alright, so we're at the bottom of the list again. And I think we're going to make this our final go-around. So this is the 7-3 round. So so for those who haven't checked in yet, this is your last and final chance to check in. That's right. Last call for alcohol. Or if you're under legal drinking age, then all you'll be getting is water, juice, milk, or soda. So last chance to check into the Pride Radio Group Net for this week. So if you'd like to check in, feel free to come now with your awesome call signs. Alright, going twice. If there's anyone else that would like to check into the Pride Radio Group Net, this is your last chance for this week. And if you don't check in, well, you'll just have to wait until next week. So if there's anyone else that would like to check in, feel free to come now. Alright, this is your absolute final chance to check in. So if you haven't checked in yet, and you would like to check in, now is the time, because this is the absolute final call. Absolute final call, I'm pretty serious. So if you'd like to check into the Pride Radio Group Net, feel free to come now. Alrighty, well, y'all shall forever hold your peace. I'm only kidding. There's always next week to check in. So, we're gonna go ahead and send it back over to VK2WAY for a final. This is KJ7OMO.
This is VK2WAY coming in super hot by the look of those level meters on Pride Reflector on the web client to see how that goes. And sounding good coming out the radio there. I'm going to not ramble. This is the 73 round, so I'll make it short and snappy. Not that I know how. Hi. Alright, to everyone who joined us this evening, this afternoon, especially Quinn and Ray there, who stuck with the Jared and Kimberly show right to the very end. Still don't know what is for dinner there in Arizona, Kimberly, but I'm sure you will let me know as soon as you do. Thank you all for joining us. It's been an absolute blast. 3 hours and 19 minutes here by the official clock at VK2WAY HQ, and been a blast. Had a lot of fun. 73 for now. I will see you all later on down the log in the Discord here on the Pride Network, wherever you pop up. VK2WAY back to KJ7 OMO and 73 all.
Alright, well, thanks for making the net fun as usual. And we look forward to hearing you on the net next week. Alright, KO4TEZ for a final. This is KJ7OMO, your net control station.
Well, it was good to make the net. Hope I can do it again. I'm surprised the echo sign off for the night. It is only 12:21 a.m. here, so I will probably just be standing by in the Discord. If anybody wants to converse there on any particular topics, will be available. Just be sitting here probably reading my book. So it was good to hear everyone in here, and hope to make it back in again real soon. This is KO4TEZ, and this will be my final for Pride Radio Group. Back to net control.
Alrighty, well, thank you for sticking to the end, and yeah, we definitely look forward to hearing you again on the net next week. Alright, is there anyone else that is on the list that would like to say your 7-3s? Come now. Alrighty, folks, that is a wrap. I would like to thank all of you for participating and having fun all on this net. And I would like to thank the Waverly Amateur Radio Society in Sydney, as well as the folks behind the VK3RBO repeater for use of their systems to carry this net, as well as VK3JED and VK2WAY, as well as the rest of the Pride Radio group for making this net possible. I now return all frequencies, repeaters, and other systems back to their abnormal abuse. Normal amateur use. Hi. 7-3, everyone, from Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar. Bye-bye, y'all. And by the way, Jared, if you'd like to try doing the news bulletin again, feel free. KJ7, OMO.
KJ7OMO, VK2WAY, just about ready to do that. I was about to tee up when you did to say I was going to try that. Now that repeaters have been returned to amateur abuse, it's my turn to abuse them. KJ7OMO, VK2WAY.
Alrighty. Commence with the abusing of the amateur radio repeaters and the network. KJ7OMO. Alright, YouTube.
Stand by all stations. This is VK2WAY with a replay of the Rainbow Radio report from earlier. Hopefully this time without technical difficulties. VK2WAY handing over to my All-Star node.
Alrighty, here comes the Rainbow report. So stand by, YouTubers. Oh, here it is now.
From here to the end of the rainbow, this is VI 2022 Pride, the Pride Radio Group on a range of modes and frequencies. Now it's time for the weekly Rainbow Radio Report.
Welcome, whatever color of the rainbow you fly, to the Rainbow Radio Report, your weekly wrap of all things under the rainbow of queer radio. This is Bulletin 002 for this Easter Sunday, 17th of April 2022, with your host Jared, Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee, or they, them to you. We want your news stories and folks who want to help write, edit, read, and deliver this weekly news bulletin. Getting this show on the road has been the easy part. Keeping it going needs folks like you to help out, so get in touch today. The Rainbow Radio Report is an independent, queer, volunteer news service providing news and stories of interest to queer and allied radio operators around the world. We appreciate the support of all involved clubs and organizations who will be mentioned at the end of this bulletin. Links and more information can be found in the text version of this bulletin, which can be found at news.prideradio.group. In news this week, Voodoo Down Under, the Bendigo Easter Parade, updates on the Pride Radio Group UK, the CQ Pride Contest, Pride Radio Network updates, the Pride Radio Group Weekly Net and Discord, and the Rainbow Association of Radio Amateurs. We don't have anything for our listener found interesting segment this week, so you will be skipping that one, but we want to hear from you with a 60-second clip about something you found interesting this week for next week's bulletin. In news from VK Land, Voodoo Furry Down Under. Australia's largest furry convention, Furry Down Under, or Voodoo as it's known, will be held between the 28th of April and 2nd of May at the Gold Coast, Queensland. Voodoo features all your fun anthropomorphic activities such as fursuit walks, mini-golf, dance competitions, and loads more. The Pride Radio Group will be operating a temporary amateur radio repeater for the event covering much of the Gold Coast and will be accessible on 441.075 MHz with an 8.87 MHz positive offset and a 67 Hz tone operated by Michaela VK3 FUR. The repeater will be connected, or should be connected at least, to the Bradmeister Hampers talk group number 98002 for most of the convention. Easter Parade. With its roots in the local Chinese community, the Bendigo Easter Gala Parade, held tomorrow, Monday, 18th of April, as part of the Bendigo Easter Festival, has always been a multicultural event and prides itself on inclusion and diversity. Members of the local queer community, including members of the Pride Radio Group, will represent as part of the Gala Parade. Activities on the air. CQ Pride Contest. Here's Luke, VK3 UKW, with more.
Pride Radio Group is proud to announce CQ Pride, a radio contest intended to celebrate Pride Month, support inclusion in amateur radio, and to have fun operating. CQ Pride will operate the first weekend of Pride Month every year. It is intended to be a relaxed contest accessible to operators of all skill levels, qualifications, and equipment. The contest runs from 4th of June, midnight UTC, until the 5th of June, 23:59 UTC. Points are awarded at 1 point per QSO, regardless of mode or band. Hotspots, digital modes, and spotting are allowed. Bonus points are awarded for contact with members of diversity-focused groups such as PRG, RARA, ALARA, YLRL, or others. Any group encouraging and supporting the underrepresented group is eligible for the bonus points. A bonus is also awarded for any QSO with a QRP station. Full rules and information can be found on the web at prideradio.group/contest. That's prideradio.group/contest. Pride Radio Group is an international group that aims to further acceptance and inclusion for underrepresented groups in amateur radio. This has been Luke, VK3 UKW, for Pride Radio Group, VK3 PRG.
Thanks there, Luke. Pride Radio Network. The Pride Radio Group Network is an autonomous group operating under the banner of the Pride Radio Group. It is a mixed-mode conference bridge bringing in a range of digital and internet-connected radio modes. We aim to provide a single and cohesive network and a meeting place for any and all Pride or diversity-related radio groups to come together. In updates this week, the Pride Radio Network has added NXDN and P25 modes using either 21909 or 5053 on either mode, thanks to links from both OMO and JED. Additionally, we welcome another 70cm FM repeater to the network, VK3 RBO, located in Bendigo, Australia, on 438.025 MHz with a -5 MHz offset and a 91.5 Hz tone. The latest network diagram can always be found at network.prideradio.group. If you want to link up your network or net, get in touch today. The Pride Radio Group Weekly Net and Discord server. The Pride Radio Group is a worldwide collective of queer radio operators and their allies who strive to demonstrate and promote acceptance of operators regardless of who they are or who they love. The Pride Radio Group Weekly Net is held at 0200 UTC Sundays and can be found on the Pride Network as mentioned in the previous story. Recalling the formation of Pride Radio Group, Michaela, VK3FUR, recalls all of the positive emails and messages she received along the lines of, I might get back on the air, and I'm going to start studying again from people who had not felt comfortable in the amateur radio community anymore. We strive to support and foster these lost radio folk with a vibrant, technical, and accepting environment for everyone. The Rainbow Amateur Radio Association. RARA strive to provide and foster friendship and goodwill in amateur radio, to educate members and the public about amateur radio operations, skills and licensing, to offer support to the queer community who share their common interest in amateur radio. They have several weekly on-air HF and VoIP nets, including one on Echolink, along with a members-only groups.io email list and social and community events with a North American focus. For more information on membership and the events of RARA, please visit www.rara.org. And that's a wrap from the news desk here at the Rainbow Radio Report. I'm Jared, Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee, and remember, whoever you are, whoever you love, there's a place here in radio for you. Look after yourself and each other. The Rainbow Radio Report would like to thank the following organizations for contributions, inspiration, articles, and their support. The Pride Radio Group, Quiz on the Air, Hampers, the Rainbow Alliance of Radio Operators, and all contributors, especially Luke, for adding another voice this week. The text version of this bulletin can be found at news.prideradio.group. This is Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee, for the weekly Rainbow Radio Report Bulletin 002 for this Easter Sunday, 17th of April, 2022. 73 for now. And this is Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee, returning. Thank you for a successful test. It looks like I timed out VK2 ROT and possibly other RF repeaters on the network thanks to my 3-minute overs. I believe ROT might be on a 2-minute TOT. So I will speak to my club and see if we can have that adjusted in the future, perhaps. 1 minute is not really great for that. It looks like we also did not go out on TGIF. However, we did go out on FreeGMR, into Kimberly's network, into a range of other places. Yeah, so happy with the results there. We do need to do some work on the automated playout facilities available for the network there, but you know, we're getting there, and for week 2 of the bulletin, not too bad if I don't say so. This is VK2WAY, intending to return the VK2 ROT repeater to normal operation and disconnect it from the Pride Radio Group and network after this. So yeah, stand by while I do that.
This is KJ7OMO returning. Well done with that. Worked flawlessly, no technical difficulties, but yeah. Hopefully the RLT folks will increase the timeout a little bit, but if not, then I suppose you'll just have to chop it up into 2-minute segments. Probably slightly under, maybe, but that would not make things good. So it's better that they increase their timeout. But yeah, once again, good job on that, and it works. So, alright, this is KJ7OMO. I will be taking a break.
And this is VK2WAY returning. Thanks for the report there, Kimberly. A couple of other little issues to solve for playout. But as JUD said earlier, the Link box might have some solutions for that for us, which can auto do the keying and things, which would be better than I have a video of it from this end. It's me checking the PTTs dekeyed on the node and going back to a shell screen and running the asterisk command to run the playback. Now, it'd be easy if the playback happened synchronously, but it happens asynchronously, so I go straight back to a command prompt, which means that I can't just let the commands play one at a time. But yeah, as Tony said earlier, hopefully we have a solve to that soon. Now, Siobhan, who is net host over on PSRG, invited me to link up Pride again afterwards. She has just informed me that they are clear of any trolls tonight, so if no one has any objections over here on Pride Network, I might link us up into that. And she actually wanted to call out and shout out to the Pride Network when we did join in, and she also wanted to join us next week for Net in that hour before she has to start her hosting duties on PSRG. So this is VK2WAY standing by in case anyone has any objections to me linking up to PSRG. VK2WAY.
No objections here. Go ahead and link them via All-Star. I will be joining in, so go ahead and do it. KJ7OMO.
November 7, Uniform Romeo Hotel. It's Mike.
Good evening, Mike. Great to have you on the net tonight. More stations, please.
Alpha Golf 7, Lima Romeo. Cody with an IO.
Hey, Cody. Always great to have you on the Saturday Night Net. 8G7LR. Have a fantastic
Alexa,
night.
shut
Enjoy
off
the
the
Net
fan.
73. More stations, please.
Okay.
Victor Kilo 2, Whiskey Alpha Yankee, Jared in Sydney, Australia, with the rest of the Pride Net following along.
All right. VK2WAY. Welcome to Jared. And for everybody that is connected, I wanted to give you a big, warm welcome. I believe that is the Network.Pride Radio group. You are also welcome. It is fantastic to have you on the Saturday Night Net here in Seattle, Washington. And a good afternoon, Sunday to all of you. Happy Easter. And feel free to check into the net. So, all right, with that, more stations, please.
KJ7, Tango Bravo Delta, Nick with an IO.
Hey, Nick, to be determined. You know I love your call sign, KJ7TBD. Thank you for stopping by and really appreciate that. More stations, please.
Kilo Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar, KJ7OMO from the Pride Radio Group Network.
Okay, N3QBT. Let me just have a look. Yeah. N3QBT. I hate when my computer freezes up. All right, so Carl, is that you in Pennsylvania? Back to you, Carl.
Darn it.
No, Siobhan, it's N3QPK, November 3, Quebec Papa Kilo, Pete, here in Seattle. I'm NIO.
Hey, Pete, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate that. And I have got you correct in my records now. I think the N3 tripped me up for Seattle. But let me make sure I've got it. Quebec Papa Kilo Peter N3QPK. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by, and enjoy the rest of the Net 73. All right, anybody else out on the internet that would like to get on this round? All-Star and Echolink, please come ahead now.
Kilo, Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar, KJ7OMO from the Pride Radio Group Network.
Hello, Siobhan.
KJ7OMO.
Charlie, I got you back on the list. And KJ7OMO, what is your name, please?
My name is Kimberly, and my pronouns are she, her, and I am coming to you from the Pride Radio Group Network. My QTH is Yuma, Arizona, Kilo, Juliet 7, Oscar, Mike Oscar.
All right, Kimberly, welcome to you. I have got you on the list, KJ7OMO, Kimberly in Arizona. All right, fantastic. Welcome. Stand by. I'll be back to you for your report. All right, well, folks, let's go ahead and get this round started. I'm Siobhan, Kilo Juliet 7, Uniform Sierra Zulu, and let's go and see how Mike is doing this evening. N7 URH, good evening. How are you?
Alrighty, YouTubers. I forgot to end the stream, so feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you could not only be notified of more live stuff, but also other content that I will be uploading. So, yep. That'll be it for the YouTube stream. So, yep. 7-3 to all of you, and we'll see you on the next video. This is Kilo Juliet 7 Oscar, Mike Oscar, 7-3 to all of you in YouTube land.